Force could not pick up a first down on their first possession. They were forced to kick it away to Vanderbilt. And now Vandy will start from their own 25. Whit Taylor, the quarterback, number 10, and he likes to put it in the air. And he will do so on first down. Down the middle he goes. It's nearly intercepted and broken up at the 40-yard line. Defending was Greg Zollinger for Air Force. So nearly a turnover, Ken, on the first play of the game for Vanderbilt, and they did not do that often. They did not turn the football over this year.
Both coaches say one of the great strengths of Whit Taylor is he does not force the ball in there where he cannot get it. That was simply a good play by Greg Zollinger, who came over and almost made that interception. But Whit Taylor's a very heady quarterback, and he won't make a lot of mistakes.
So it is 2nd and 10. He threw just 12 interceptions all year long while throwing 22 touchdown passes. 2nd and 10 for Vanderbilt. That's Scott in motion. Taylor will throw again. Plenty of time, and he zings it out to the near side, completes it out here to Perry. And for Vanderbilt, it's a first down at their own 42-yard line.
They've got as many receivers as they can get on the field. They're coming out throwing. They're doing exactly what got them here from the beginning. There's no mystery about this game plan. Arnez Perry making that little break off of the down and out pattern. Good throw by Whit Taylor.
1st and 10 for Vanderbilt from their own 42-yard line. Taylor's going to keep it this time, and he's knocked down after he gains maybe a yard or two on the play. Up to make the hit that time for Air Force, number 49, Carl Jedinay. So it's going to be 2nd and about 8. Well, no real surprises yet from Vanderbilt, Ken. They came out winging it.
Well, you expect him to do it. That's Whit Taylor, over 6,300 career yards. He owns most of the SEC and certainly all of the Vanderbilt passing records.
Taylor now on a 2nd and 8 from his own 44. Edwards and Jordan the setbacks. That is Jordan who makes the grab at midfield, breaks the tackle, tries to get a block, but is finally run down at the Air Force 42-yard line. Chuck Peterson was there to make the hit, number 33, but it's another Vanderbilt first down.
This is what Whit Taylor does so well, just picking you apart, just coming time and time again with the little dunk passes, so to speak. And Norman Jordan was 2nd in the Southeastern Conference in receiving with 56 catches, and he can run with the football after he gets the ball.
12:50 left in the first quarter. We're scoreless. First series of downs for Vanderbilt. Air Force had to punt. Nobody left in the backfield now for Whit Taylor. He wants to throw it again. That's Matthews in motion, the All-American tight end. He shovels it inside to Matthews. He runs through 2 tacklers and gets down to the 35-yard line. So a little bit of fancy play calling from Vanderbilt that time. Making the hit, Steve Kelly, the nose guard, number 50 for Air Force.
Alamo Matthews, he's an All-American if you've ever seen one. Only 6'3", 225, but he really plays much bigger than that.
So for Vandy, they have penetrated to the Air Force 35-yard line. And they are now looking at 2nd and 3. Edwards, the lone setback in the Vanderbilt backfield. And he gets the call up the middle, runs into trouble, and he's buried. So that time it didn't fool Tom Stanberry, and he made the tackle, and they are short of the first down.
The 2 inside linebackers for Air Force are very, very active, and they really make the majority of the tackles on the team. And of course, the defensive philosophy, running a basic 5-2, the Air Force Academy does, and they free those inside linebackers to roam all over the field and be in on the action.
3rd and 2. Vanderbilt comes out in the power I, but don't let that confuse you. They'll throw from this formation. Taylor this time gives it off to Edwards. Didn't make it, but there's a flag down on the play. And let's wait and see what the call is. He did not make the first down. It's offside against Air Force. What a bad break that is. They had him stopped short of the first down, but the penalty will give him the first down.
Vanderbilt capable of scoring from anywhere on the field with Ricky Anderson, their fine sophomore place kicker. He can boot it from a long ways.
You hear the call. First down for Vanderbilt. A big break for the Commodores. They are now inside the 30 of Air Force at the 29. With Taylor leading the charge. Roach is flanked wide to the left side. Taylor to throw, and he hits his man Jordan inside the 20. He may take it all the way in for the touchdown. Vanderbilt with Norman Jordan.
Norman Jordan on just a little pop pass out of the backfield, up in a wing position, up in a slot position, comes out. Whit Taylor hits him. We get a chance to look at it. One deep back. Taylor rolls out, hits him quick. Now watch Phil Roach come back. This is a planned play. Phil Roach comes back, and he makes a heck of a block over there on Dwan Wilson. Norman Jordan takes it in for the touchdown. The extra point is good.
Ricky Anderson adds the extra point, and Vanderbilt with their first possession, driving 75 yards for the touchdown. They lead over Air Force 7-0, and we will return to Legion Field in Birmingham for more of the Hall of Fame Bowl. Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. There is Ricky Anderson getting set to kick off for Vanderbilt. They have just scored to take the lead 7-0. He booms it down to Dennis Moore of Air Force at the 2-yard line. Moore with a seam, but it closed in a hurry, and he's run down as he crosses the 22-yard line. And so that is where Air Force will have to put it in play once more. And making the hit once again was Jeff Cartwright down there on the special teams for Vanderbilt.
Jeff Cartwright, a very valuable guy for Vanderbilt. 2 hits in a row. Not very long. 7 plays, covering 75 yards. Only 2 minutes and 49 seconds used up. Again, a typical Whit Taylor passing performance.
Well, the big play, of course, was when Air Force had them stopped on 3rd and 2, but the Falcons had jumped offside. Air Force now with Louthan barking the signals. There is Kirshner, big hole on the left side. He's across the 30 into the secondary. He is run down by Manny Young, number 32, but that is an Air Force first down.
Not much deception of that. A straight give to the fullback Kirshner. Uses that agility and speed. Gets a good block there. They isolate number 75. Nobody blocking on him, and he just cuts out and takes all he can get before Manny Young, who Coach McIntyre says pound for pound is one of the toughest players he's ever coached, comes up and makes a stop.
First bowl appearance for Vanderbilt since 1974. First bowl appearance for Air Force since 1971. Air Force with a 1st and 10. This is Kirshner again as he rides forward for about 3 yards, and he's pulled down to the ground as he gets those 3 yards. Joe Staley, number 86, was the first to hit him.
You start to see a little bit of the game plan on Coach Ken Hatfield. He seems to be wanting to throw on 1st down. Perhaps that will change up as the game goes on, but he comes out in his flex bone formation, really with 2 or 3 wide receivers, which he normally comes back in 2nd down and goes back to the regular wishbone.
2nd and 7 for the Falcons. Once again, they break the wishbone, and they send Dennis Moore wide to the top of your screen, Kirby wide to the bottom. Louthan giving it to Kirshner for the 3rd straight play, and that time he went nowhere. Jeff McFerrin, the middle linebacker, was the first to stick his nose in there and prevent much of a gain at all. Perhaps a yard for Kirshner, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 now for Air Force.
Jeff McFerrin alternates with Steve McCoy. McFerrin, a freshman, McCoy, a sophomore. Not very much experience there, but they combine a lot of hard hitting in that middle.
Big 3rd down play for the Falcons now. They come at it in the wishbone. Louthan will throw off of it. Out of his backfield, a tremendous catch near the 45-yard line. I don't know if that will be enough for the 1st down. Marcus Greenwood made the grab, but I believe he will be short. And Ken, it appeared that he had Tom Coleman, number 92, wide open about 15 yards downfield, but I don't think Louthan ever saw him.
Well, it's awfully tough off that wishbone and having to go through that faking to get back. It is not a 1st down.
It's 4th and short, and I think they're going to go for it.
They certainly are. Bringing in Greg Egan, one of the tight ends, for blocking purposes.
And the fans love it. Nearly 80,000 strong at Legion Field. So the Falcons with Ken Hatfield gambling early. 4th and inches from their own 43. Louthan keeps the ball himself, and he's got the 1st down and more as he crosses midfield to the Vanderbilt 45-yard line. And making perhaps the touchdown-saving tackle was Mark Matthews, because everybody was up in tight, and once Louthan turned the corner, he had some daylight.
Well, I think the person you'd expect him to give that football to is their special K, John Kirshner. He made a good job, did a good job of faking, took it around the corner, and Marty Louthan can run the football when he gets out in the open.
Well, Air Force is doing what they have to do, as you see some of the Falcon faithful. They have to control the football and keep it away from the high-scoring offense of Vanderbilt. First down for the Falcons in Vandy territory now at the 46-yard line. And a whistle and apparently too much time, and very costly penalty. That's the call, delay of game against the Falcons, their second penalty of the game, Ken, and both of them have proved to be costly. One allowed Vanderbilt to keep their first drive going, which resulted in a touchdown on the next play.
Well, they, of course, both of them are contrasting teams. Air Force Academy can use up a lot of time in a single drive. Vanderbilt can score on 1 or 2 plays with a passing game. Air Force Academy has got to control the football and got to keep it out of the hands of Whit Taylor.
First and 15 now for the Falcons. They're back inside their own territory at the 49-yard line. Louthan on a straight drop back, tries the quarterback draw, but he's nailed from behind. He tried to get outside, and John Clemens, the defensive end, was there.
I don't know whether that was a pre-designed play or whether he just took off on his own, but I don't think that Marty Louthan had a lot of time to make that decision, and they're running a lot more of their flex formations, not running from their true wishbone formations, and I think this is kind of paying a little respect to Vanderbilt's defense. They're Vanderbilt kind of running a throwback type defense. You don't see very many 4-3s in college anymore, but they have stuck with it. Their 3 linebackers playing pretty solid.
They lost 2 on the play. Second and long, the inside handoff goes to Kirshner. He runs over a couple of folks, and then he's finally brought down by McFerrin, number 44.
There's
Head
George
coach
McIntyre. Gee, what a great season he's had. The most wins for this Vanderbilt team since 1955, and the most wins in the Southeastern Conference since 1937.
It's been a good year for Vandy. They won 8-3. They won their last 5 games, 7 of their last 8, and the only loss in their last 8 was to the #1 team of the nation, Georgia. 3rd and 11 for Air Force. Louthan still has it himself, and he is snowed under as he crosses the original line of scrimmage, and he will not have the first down, and so Air Force will have to give it away. The penalty really stalled the offense.
It certainly did. Limited somewhat from that flex formation or from the wishbone formation. I think we'll see them flexing those backs a little bit. I think the Air Force Academy will be running with more wide receivers as the game goes on.
Jeff Kubiak, number 39, comes in to kick it away. He got off a great kick his first time. And dropping back for Vanderbilt, as you look at Kubiak, there is Manny Young, number 32. Kubiak hangs it high again. Fair catch called for by Young, and he takes it at his own 15-yard line, so that is where Vanderbilt will put it in play. They already lead at 7-0. As the result, Evan Slayton along with Ken Willard, glad you're with us wherever you are, and hope you enjoy this New Year's Eve and many good things to come in 1983. Vanderbilt out of the wishbone of their own this time, and Whit Taylor spins and keeps it. Now he pitches it back. Big yardage on the near side, and close to a first down for Alma Matthews, the tight end, coming around.
You don't think they'll do some strange things? Alma Matthews was lined up in the backfield that time as a halfback. They try to get that ball in his hands as many times as possible. Running a little bit of wishbone formation. Vanderbilt is not without its tricks also.
Alma, the All-American tight end, caught 61 passes in the regular season for 14 touchdowns, which set a Southeastern Conference record. Keith Edwards, the lone setback now on first down. Taylor to the air, and he hits his man Jordan over the middle near the 35, and he falls across the 35. So a pickup of about 8 on the play.
You've got to like the way Whit Taylor runs that offense. He's very satisfied. A little dump pass to Norman Jordan. Very satisfied to pick himself up 8 or 9 yards. Not wanting to get the whole thing. They've got plenty of offensive weapons. They're going to keep coming at you. Talking about records, they've had over 34 of them set this year.
It's been a great year for them. Inside handoff, this time to Edwards, fumbles the football, and I think Air Force has it. They do. Steve Kelly comes away with it for the Falcons, and they're in good field position at the 37 of Vanderbilt. And Ken, I was just getting ready to say it's going to be a very important series of downs, even though it's early for Air Force. They had to stop Vanderbilt. Here's another look at it.
Quite a big break for the Air Force Academy. The give to Edwards. We'll try to see who makes the stop. It looks like he's reached in, and number 36, Sean Smith, really makes the initial tackle. Steve Kelly jumping on the football. Air Force has got a chance to get back in this game.
4:48 left, first quarter, 7-0 Vanderbilt. Louthan keeps the ball himself, and he's wrapped up and dropped for a loss on the play. John Wyndham made the tackle, the right defensive end for Vanderbilt, number 89.
There's the Commodore mascot. Hasn't looked too gruesome in years past, but looked a little fearsome this year to a lot of Southeastern Conference opponents.
Well, George McIntyre has certainly turned things around as you look at Sean Pavlich, one of the excellent place kickers around the country. 15 of 18 on the season for Pavlich in the field goal department. 2nd and 10 for Loudon. He's going to throw it on 2nd down. Flips it out of his backfield, completes it to Greenwood. He has a blocker, but he's wrapped up from behind. Steve Wade, the freshman, and now we've got a flag down. And let's see if they'll tack anything onto that game.
Air Force Academy using a lot of different series, a lot of different types of plays. That'll go against the Air Force Academy.
And it's going to be a clip that will go against the Falcons. And they had picked up about 7 yards on the play, and that will hurt. Once more, Ken, the penalties are really hurting the Falcons with 4:02 left.
3 penalties so far in the ball game, all against Air Force, and all of them in crucial situations when Air Force looked like they were getting something going.
Offense. 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd and 18 now with 4:02 left in the first quarter. Vanderbilt leading it 7-0.
This is where I think that you have to get out of that wishbone attack. You've got a 3rd down and a 2nd down and about 20 yards. You know, it's hard to fool somebody. You're not going to run that football too many times for 20 yards.
Well, they're out of the wishbone. Marty Loudon. We'll see his arm on this play. Remember, he likes to go deep. And he's doing just that for Greenwood. He's got it at the 20. And he's knocked out of bounds by Manny Young inside the 15. It's a 1st down for the Falcons.
I don't know what happened to Leonard Coleman, but he had a chance to make that interception and break up that pass. Marty Loudon looking at Marcus Greenwood. Now, Greenwood just kind of runs a little out pattern. And we'll see Coleman, who comes up and seems to go to sleep here. He even ducks the football. And if it hadn't been for Marcus Greenwood stepping out of bounds on the push over there by Manny Young, that was touchdown.
Ken, the sun is shining in his face in that direction. Maybe he lost the ball in the sun.
I have to assume that.
I can't think of anything else because he really did look like he went to sleep. Kirshner now, big hole, and he rides it down to the 5-yard line. Bob O'Connor made the hit, but Kirshner got himself in touchdown range now. It's going to be 2nd and short.
Well, this is where you like to have a guy like John Kirshner, and that wishbone offense looks pretty good when you're on the 6-yard line. You can do a lot of things and look pretty smart with it.
The Air Force Academy rotating wide receivers, bringing the plays in. Dennis Moore, number 26, and Mike Kirby, number 82. Moore goes wide to the top of your screen. The wishbone formation, they give it to Kirshner, and he's stacked up as he crosses the 5-yard line. Steve Bearden made the tackle, and he's very close to a 1st down. I believe he has it, but we'll wait and give the official marking of it. They're going to measure. 2:55 left in the first quarter. Vanderbilt leading at 7-0. Whit Taylor whipping a 29-yard touchdown pass to Norman Jordan on their first possession.
Well, of course, Vanderbilt had kept Air Force out of the ball game, really, and Air Force had kept themselves out of the ball game. 1st down.
1st down for Air Force at the Vanderbilt 3. As you look at some of the cadet corps that have somehow been able to dig their way out of that 3-foot snow up in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. In fact, one of their players, Butrell, the lineman, he lives on a ranch, and he had to ride his horse to the nearest highway so that he could catch a bus to get to the airport.
We didn't hear whether the horse flew down with him.
1st and goal. They break the wishbone. Kirshner has it anyway. He's not in. He is about a foot shy of the goal line. Bob O'Connor made the tackle for Vanderbilt.
Well, they've got plenty of time to get it, and they've got 3 more plays. They're going for all the way. If they'll go for a 1st down early in the first quarter, you can bet they're not going to be any field goals kicked right here.
Well, he's a little bit more than a foot shy. They mark it now back at the 1-yard line. There is the Air Force Brain Trust. And they come out back in the wishbone. It is 2nd and goal. This is Greenwood. Did he break the plane? No call. He is not in. Greenwood, who caught the pass that got them down within scoring range, is up inches shy of the goal line.
Well, you have to be pretty fine to make that call, but this is the type of thing that can turn a ball game around completely. Now, if Vanderbilt comes back and holds the Air Force Academy, gee, this ball game is completely turned.
Well, that's how much real estate they have to cover to get it into pay dirt. And they are trying to score at the end of the stadium where most of the Vanderbilt people are sitting. So they're going to make it as difficult as possible for Air Force. It's 3rd and goal. The wishbone. Loudon keeps it, and he's in for the touchdown. Marty Loudon, who rushed for 12 touchdowns during the season, adds one more, and Vanderbilt now finds themselves, after giving up that fumble, leading by just a point with the conversion attempt for Air Force still to come.
I think Marty just got tired of taking so long to get that ball in the end zone, decided to take matters in his own hands. Ricard Smith, the center, led that block, and he just tucked himself in behind it and just dove in the end zone.
Sean Pavlich out of Zollninger's hold. Pavlich was 36 of 39 on the season with point afters, and he adds another one on, and we're tied at 7 with 1:16 to go in the first period. Air Force drives in for the touchdown after recovering the Vanderbilt fumble, and the Falcons have tied Vanderbilt. We'll be back with more. The center of Air Force's wishbone attack has carried the football 7 times for 41 yards. 4 times he has picked up first down. Deep for Vanderbilt, Clay Parker nearest to you. Len Coleman at the top of your screen. They kick the squibber. That ball can take some funny bounces, and it's finally smothered. Clay Parker picked it up, but he was nailed by Greg Pashishniak. The strategy worked well on the squib kick. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Well, not much exciting to look at here except touchdown. It's very exciting for Air Force Academy. He just tucks himself in there and goes in for the touchdown on that squib kick. At that point, Kevin, I don't think it was any effort on the part of the Air Force Academy to do an onside kick. They simply were trying to get down there, and they've got some pretty good returners for Vanderbilt, and they wanted to keep it out of their hands.
Alama Matthews, the tight end, is in the Vanderbilt backfield out of that wishbone again. Whit Taylor now with a quick pass down, and he's got Roach at the 30 before he's knocked out of bounds. Covering over there was Chuck Peterson, but not before Phil Roach has a first down for Vanderbilt.
This is what makes this Vanderbilt offense so exciting. They do so many things. Putting Alama Matthews back in the backfield as another running back, and then, of course, faking the dive and coming up and hitting Roach on the little out. They can go on and on and on. They've had so many variations, and this is what Alama Matthews does so well. He fits in all over that offense.
You can see them shifting once more. How'd you like to be playing defense against this team? Every time they come out of the huddle, you feel like you're coming down with a head cold. The draw play this time. Not much running room, but they're able to make it himself. It's Edwards, and he crosses the 40 when he slips and falls. There wasn't any running room there, but Edwards made it all on his own. And it's another Vanderbilt first down. And Ken, you have to say that up front, Monaco, Saindon, Fletcher, Madden, and Sample are doing the job for Vandy so far.
They've done a great job. Keith Edwards has run so well. He just ran out of his shoe just to give. Just really a draw play. Now watch Keith Edwards make this cut, and looks like everybody on the Air Force Academy misses him. Number 49 comes in there and takes a shot at him. He runs out of his shoe and finally brought downfield by Don Smith.
Louis Stevenson replaces him in the lineup. Taylor still has it. He's got single coverage, and that's who he's going to for Roach. It's incomplete. He overthrew him. Back there defending was Dwan Wilson. They like to get that single coverage, don't they?
Well, they sure do. And the people here, of course, the Vandy fans felt like it should have been some pass interference. But Phil Roach, who's been a great receiver, led that team in receiving. 32 receptions this year, of course. Well, one of their leading receivers, I should say, because Alamo Matthews has led it and led the SEC as well. But Phil Roach held up in that pattern. And in my opinion, if he'd have kept himself going on that post pattern, he had a chance to get there.
Taylor has hit 5 of 7 passes for 80 yards thus far, but he missed that one. And it's 2nd and 10 for Vandy just across their own 45. He's going to try it again through the air. He fakes the shovel pass. They've got a screen set up to the right side, and it's nearly intercepted by Kelly again. Well, they had the screen set up, but Kelly read it so perfectly that Taylor had to hold on to the ball a little longer than he might have wanted.
Well, it's unusual enough to have a screen pass. You don't see it very often. Then to throw a fake screen shovel pass, you know, screenplay is even unbelievable. So Whit Taylor and the Vanderbilt Commodores are coming out ready to pull a lot of things out of that bag of tricks to win this ball game.
Well, you can sure tell it's New Year's Eve, can't you?
That looks like a couple of our directors.
32 seconds left in the first quarter. We're tied at 7. Vandy has a 3rd and 10 from their own 45. Taylor wants to throw plenty of time, and he gets it to Roach, but he overthrew him and missed him. My goodness, does he have some time to throw.
Well, if you want to talk about the success of any passing game, you've got to look at those people up front. As you said earlier, Kevin, Saindon, Fletcher, Madden, Sample, Monaco, all of them have done such a fantastic job. Bill Fletcher, the center, started every offensive play
for Vandy all season. And now you're going to get a look at one of the best punters in the country, the All-American punter Jim Arnold, number 6 for Vanderbilt. Averaged better than 45 yards a kick, nearly 46 yards a kick. And they'll be booting it away to Mike Kirby, who is deep for Air Force, standing at about his own 10. Two of the best punters in the country today. Kubiak for Air Force, averaging better than 43 yards a kick. The snap is good, and Arnold really nails it. Boy, does he hang it high. And it takes an Air Force bounce and goes into the end zone, so they'll get the touchback with 16 seconds left in the first quarter. And we're all first down for Air Force from their own 20. Louthan gives it to Kirshner. This time he runs into trouble in the person of Joe Staley, who met him head on and threw him back, but he picked up about 2, and that will probably be the last play of the first quarter. 5 seconds left, and the clock is ticking. And there is the gun. That is the end of the first quarter. Vanderbilt and Air Force are all tied at 7 apiece. The 6th annual Hall of Fame Force keeping the football, turns the corner, and he's near his own 30. A pickup of about 8 yards for Louthan. But he is short of the first down, and it will be 3rd and about 1.
Artie Louthan has got plenty of speed. 796 yards coming into this game. Joe Staley, of course, was in on that tackle. 126 tackles for the year. 6'2", 218-pound senior.
Big play now. 3rd and 1. Air Force in the wishbone. Ted Sundquist is in there, and he gets the carry, and I think he's got the first down. He does have the first down. So he came in to replace Kirshner, and he gets his first carry of the game and gets the first down.
As we talked a little earlier in the game, Kevin, it's kind of unusual to have the fullbacks gaining so many yards, because mostly the fullback is a blocker or to really kind of a fake man in the wishbone formation, but they like to give it to that fullback, and as you can see, they get a lot of performance out of it.
Well, they've still got Kirshner out of the game. I don't know if Staley hurt him when he hit him with that tackle on first down or not. We'll try to see what's going on with Kirshner. There goes Sundquist. They don't miss a beat when they put him in there. He crosses the 40. Bob O'Connor finally brought him down after a pickup of about 9.
Joe Staley, not much you have to think about this. Just give the ball to the fullback and let him pick his way. Man-on-man blocking. Joe Staley getting over again to make the tackle with a lot of help over there. And they'll need it with those 2 fullbacks.
Staley and O'Connor, the 2 linebackers, the outside linebackers in that 4-3 setup that Vanderbilt uses. 2nd and 2. Once again, it's Sundquist. Big hole. And he is tripped up, but he's got the first down. And Air Force is moving the football. John Clemens was able to trip him up.
And Ted Sundquist seems to be shaken up a little bit. And there's John Kirshner ready to get back in the ball game. This is the play they're running from that flex set. And they get everybody blocking down, which opens up that gaping hole. John Clemens diving back in to make the tackle, or trying to make the tackle, finally made by Matthews. But they're getting a lot of yardage on that play. And they're double teaming at the point of the ball.
It's a first down at midfield. Sundquist only gained 256 yards in the whole season. Air Force has called a timeout, and I don't know that they wanted to do that, except Layton along with Ken Willard. Ken, I'll let you finish that thought that you had just before the break, right after this play. Air Force out of the wishbone. Kirshner back in there at the fullback spot. There he goes. Big hole as he breaks the tackle. Manny Young finally made sure he was down, but he picked up 8 or 9 again.
I don't see any need to change their offensive formation as long as those fullbacks are running the ball that way. Joe Staley, the fine linebacker for Vanderbilt, gets in and barely makes a shoestring tackle, really. John Kirshner is only 5'11", 190 pounds, but runs much bigger than that, I should say. He really runs like a 220-pounder.
2nd and 1 for Air Force at the Vanderbilt 41. And this time they change it up. Greenwood, another big hole. And he isn't hit until he's in the secondary at the 36-yard line before he is brought down. and it's another Air Force first down. Staley made the tackle. He's all over the place. Again, Ken, complete your thought now.
I was talking about the tight end situation. Alamo Matthews, I'll get back to that in a moment. We go back to this. We've got angle blocking with the back coming in on the defensive tackle. Greenwood does a great job of running the football, and I'll get back to what I was trying to say in a moment.
I hope it's important. First and 10 for Air Force now. They're moving at the Vanderbilt 35. Kirshner again. This time he didn't fool anybody, and he's brought down.
I'll try to get this in very quickly. Alamo Matthews, of course, is a great All-American tight end for Vanderbilt. He's caught 61 balls coming into today's ball game. There are 4 tight ends listed for the Air Force Academy, and Kevin, out of all 4 tight ends, they've only caught 3 balls. Their first 3 tight ends haven't even been thrown a football this year.
Ken Hatfield was telling us yesterday when you brought that up to him that he's actually moved 2 tackles out to tight end. He says they can catch the ball, but I haven't seen it yet. Of course, they haven't tried it all year. Kirshner again on the inside handoff. He's to the 30-yard line before he's brought down. And they're going to be about 4 yards shy of another first down.
The beauty of the wishbone play, and of course it depends on the quarterback, and they call Marty Louthan Marty the Magician because he had such a good feel on either giving the ball to the fullback or keeping the ball and rolling out. You've got to read off of that fullback and whether you think he's going to get tackled. Evidently, Louthan must be a spectacular runner because most of the teams have been allowing Kirshner to get through there and pick up a lot of yards.
We're all tied at 7-7 in officials' timeout. 11:08 left in the first half. Vanderbilt scored first on a 29-yard touchdown pass from Whit Taylor to Norman Jordan. That was on their first possession of the game. But Air Force, after recovering a fumble, was able to come back and score on Louthan's short run. Steve Wade going off the field for Vanderbilt, having either some equipment problems or a slight injury. Air Force now with a 3rd and 5. So far, they've converted just 1 of 4 third down conversions. Let's see if they'll make it 2 of 5. They come out of the wishbone from the Vanderbilt 30-yard line. Kirshner breaks a tackle, and he's about a foot short of the first down. He was able to run out of a tackle, but he's short, and the last time they went for it in their own territory. I believe they'll go for it again.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Now, of course, if you're Vanderbilt and you start gearing your offense to stop Kirshner, what happens is Louthan gives him that fake and rolls with it, and you've got another set of problems on the outside. Then he can either keep it and turn it upfield or pitch it back to his halfback Greenwood.
He's reading the defense as he sticks the ball in the belly of Kirshner.
That's exactly right, and that's why there's so many fumbles involved in wishbone offense.
Here they go, 4th and short. Kirshner has the first down. So Air Force has been able to do what we alluded to at the outset of this game, Ken Willard. If they can control the football, they can win this football game. Everybody coming in thought Vanderbilt would run all over Air Force, and things looked like they would take that script at the outset when Vandy scored early. It hasn't developed that way.
Well, amazingly, you and I have discussed the fact of how light the Air Force defense is, but their offensive line is really not that light.
First down at the 24-yard line. Kirshner breaking tackles all over the place. Staley finally hit him hard enough to bring him down, along with some help from Tom Moore. And he picks up about 5. He's got 15 carries for 69 yards unofficially.
Here's the give. It's sort of a crossover. Everybody, again, using angle blocking. John Kirshner has a lot of power. And what a blow Tom Moore takes coming up trying to make that play. And believe me, by the 4th quarter, those halfbacks are going to be thinking about hitting him.
They're making all the tackles. Out of the wishbone, 2nd and 5. Louthan keeping it, pitching it back. This time, great block on the far side. It is an Air Force touchdown. Mike Brown gets the score. Ken, I couldn't tell who threw the block. I think it was Kirby.
That was Marcus Greenwood. What a block. Tremendous block. As we just said, if you start getting your defense set to try to stop Kirshner, Marty Louthan has 2 options. He can take that ball down the line of scrimmage and either turn it up or pitch it back, of course. He elected to pitch it back, and what a block by Marcus Greenwood on the cornerback. Great play. We see it from the ground, and we see Louthan down. He pitches it back out. Greenwood has already knocked down the defensive man, and great run by Mike Brown.
Pavlich out of Zollinger's hold. He converts it. It's 14-7 Air Force. Nobody was talking about Greenwood before the game, but he's caught a big pass to set up their first touchdown. He throws a great block here. So with 9:04 left in the first half, Air Force leads Vanderbilt by a touchdown. 4 left in the first half of this Hall of Fame Bowl. Air Force has just scored. They lead 14-7. Mateos kicking off for Air Force. A squib kick fielded at about the 20 by one of the up men. Breaking a tackle, crossing the 35-yard line. And that's where Vandy will operate 1st and 10, but they trail 14-7. And Ken, we're going to find out just how good a team they are when they're behind.
Well, quite frankly, for a spectator, you'd like to have Vanderbilt down at this standpoint, because we ought to see some spectacular action out of this Vanderbilt ball club. And if you just want to look at it from a pure game standpoint, this Vanderbilt ball club is capable of putting it in the air from a lot of different formations. We're going to see a lot of passing.
First down for Vandy. They operate from their own 33. They couldn't move the football the last time. Edwards is the lone setback. Taylor will throw. Down the middle he goes. It's Matthews at the midfield stripe, and he's got a first down. Well, I've been waiting for him to throw to him. They haven't really thrown to him all afternoon. He's run a couple of shovel passes out of the backfield, but
we're going to get a chance to look at that touchdown again. The rollout by Louth, and now he fakes the ball to Kirshner, comes right down the line of scrimmage, elects to pitch the ball. Now look at the block on the cornerback by Greenwood, and Mike Brown, who's got lots of speed, gets in there.
Back to the action. Taylor to throw. He's got it again. That's Jordan at the 40 of Air Force. Another first down. Well, they're going to work.
No doubt about it. Everything in their offense is predicated to free somebody. They brought the split end Arnaz Perry across and got Jordan out there. There we see the scoring drive, eating up a lot of the clock, over 6 minutes.
80-yard drive, and they kept the football very well on the ground, mostly with Kirshner. 8:18 left first half. Air Force leading at 14-7. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard, glad to have you with us. Happy New Year to everyone out there watching. Taylor, he releases it to Jordan at the 30 before he is brought down. Kelly was over there along with Tom Stanberry.
Nothing spectacular about to throw, but just eating you up down the field. Another 6 yards picked up. Norman Jordan, 52 balls he caught coming into this ball game. Tremendous receiver. Not a lot of yards on the ground.
Well, he caught the touchdown pass in the first quarter of this game. Taylor will throw to just about everybody that has a gold jersey on. 2nd and 5 from the Air Force 30. He's going to throw it again. He's got Edwards, and he finds him. Edwards all alone on the sideline. Stanberry finally chases him out of bounds, but not before he's down to the Air Force 14-yard line. We're going to see some points today.
No doubt about it. Keith Edwards, a fine receiver coming out of the backfield, caught 43 balls. Again, you notice you can see the consistency. All of these backs have caught over 40 footballs. A lot of balls in the air, a lot of short passes. They allow them to catch the ball and really get in motion. Alama Matthews had run a little curl pattern, and Edwards had just cleared out.
Roach wide to the near side as Taylor goes to the air again. He looks for the end zone for Roach. Touchdown! Vanderbilt comes back and strikes quickly.
Oh, they love to put both of those receivers on one side of the field, run them straight down at about 12 yards and break them off in different directions. And Bill Roach popped open just as beautifully as you can imagine. Whit Taylor runs most of his passes from just a little rollout, really basically a drop-back pass. Now Roach had just broken off of the other wide receiver, Scott, into the end zone, touchdown. What a ball game.
Ricky Anderson on for the conversion attempt, and he bangs it home. We're all tied at 14. 7:21 left in the first half. And this game is all it's been billed as. Set to kick off. Dennis Moore is deep for Air Force. And Anderson really steps into it. Moore retreats into his own end zone about 3 yards deep, and he brings it out. He's got a seam on the near side, and he's run out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. And that's where they'll put it in play. There's the scoring drive. That's why we said Air Force has to keep the football away from Vanderbilt. It only took them a little over a minute and a half.
That's amazing. 63 yards, a minute and 43 seconds. And this is why the Air Force Academy won't be safe the whole ball game.
That's right. So far, Taylor has hit 10 of 14 passes for 145 yards for Vanderbilt. So when they get their hands on it, they know what to do with it.
You got the impression last night, Kevin, at least I did, that Ken Hatfield likes that underdog role. He kind of considers himself an underdog coming into this ball game.
He even went so far as to say he thought Air Force was handpicked so that Vanderbilt could get a victory. A tremendous defensive play by Clemens. He tipped the pass from Loudon. He was trying to set up the screen to Mike Brown, who scored the touchdown a few moments ago.
You hear a lot of talk. The Air Force, of course, is a fine. And, you know, one of the things they said coming into this game, at least the bowl officials here at the Hall of Fame Bowl, both of these teams were picked for a variety of reasons, not only because of their record. They had both beaten national competition, the best schools, and they both had great academic standards.
Sundquist is in at the fullback spot, replacing Kirshner, and that is Sundquist who gets the call, but he doesn't get very far. You know, Ken, I don't want to let anybody know how old you are, but didn't you play in the Gator Bowl against Air Force in 1963? Wasn't that your name?
Has it been that long?
Touchdowns?
I honest to goodness, time passes, you know, so quickly when you're having a good time that I didn't realize it was 63. But we were sitting last night talking to Coach Hatfield, and who would walk up with the great quarterback from that 63 ball club of the Air Force Academy, Colonel Cherry Isaacson.
He's flying out of the San Antonio Air Force Base for the Air Force. 6:29 left. Loudon still has it. Look at him run with a football short of the first down, but not by much, and that was on a third down play. Now they have shown a tendency to go for it on fourth down. Twice they've done it. Twice they've been successful. Once in their own territory, once in Vanderbilt territory. We've got an injured player down on the field for Vandy.
I'm not coaching the Air Force Academy, but this is a
third player for Vanderbilt. He was helped off the field, and Air Force will indeed kick it away. Kubiak is in there to kick it for the Air Force, and he can give it a ride. He doesn't get all of this one. Fair catch called for down at the 30-yard line by Risser for Vandy. And so that's where the Commodores will put it back in play. A 34-yard punt, no return. Slayton along with Ken Willard tied at 14. Air Force and Vanderbilt. 5:55 left, first half. Vandy with a first down at their own 31. Taylor setting up the screen, but he wisely threw it away because over there to read it defensively for Air Force was Chris Funk, number 96.
Pretty smart play on Whit Taylor's part. Again, this is one of his strengths. George McIntyre told us yesterday at practice that he would never force the ball in, and really his mistakes have been very, very few. He threw 22 TD passes this year and only had 12 interceptions, which I think is quite good.
And that's the ratio that you like to see from a quarterback standpoint. Touchdown passes as opposed to interceptions. Alama Matthews, the All-American tight end, is in the slot near to you as Taylor throws on 2nd and 10. He's in trouble, gets it away and hits Jordan. Stanberry makes the tackle, but that'll show you the athletic ability of Whit Taylor. He was under a heavy rush, threw a strike on the run.
We were looking at him yesterday. There's Norman Jordan. Carried the ball only 10 times from scrimmage this year, but again had called 56 balls coming in, and he's called about 5 or 6 already. But Coach McIntyre said he showed up here to take over controls at Vanderbilt, and he looked there and they said, "This is your quarterback, coach." And there was a balding little guy, and Whit Taylor is a good-looking young man, but he is losing his hair prematurely. And he said, "What have I gotten into?" Well, he's very glad he got into that situation right now.
3rd and 1. He's going to throw it. He's got his man Scott complete for the first down. I told you they'd throw on them short yardage. They come up in that power I formation. They don't care. They're going to throw it anyway.
Well, you said that yesterday. You were watching them yesterday from that power I. You said they're going to throw from that, and you're right.
Jordan has caught 5 balls for 61 yards out of the backfield. That time, though, it was Scott, Chuck Scott. There he is. 1st and 10, 5:41. Vanderbilt at their own 48. Edwards and Jordan the setbacks. Taylor's going to throw, though. He's not kidding anybody. There is Jordan. He's got it. He's hit, breaks the tackle, and he's run down finally, making the hit on the near side was Sean Smith. But he broke the tackle of Don Smith and was able to pick up additional yardage.
Well, if you're a defensive secondary coach, you've got to be a little upset right now with Don Smith because he has a chance to lower Norman Jordan. He simply doesn't wrap his arms. Jordan gets away, and Sean Smith has to make the takedown.
It is 2nd and 1, a pickup of 9. Vanderbilt inside Air Force territory. Down the middle for Matthews, a diving catch. Did he make it? We've got a flag down on the play. They're saying that Matthews did catch the football. Now let's wait and see what the flag is about. And I believe it's going to go against Air Force. Face mask.
That's an unusual call on a pass play.
Especially where it was dropped in the area where you'd look for a holding penalty.
I think it was against a defensive lineman, against going against an offensive lineman, evidently using the face mask to maybe try to get around him.
Well, if you're Air Force, you don't like to see that because Vanderbilt's offense doesn't need any help. And when you give them help like that, you're just asking for trouble. There you have it. So it's a first down for Vanderbilt from the Air Force 33. And whatever they've done, changing their offense just a tad from the second and third possessions when they couldn't move, it certainly looks good now.
I'm not sure they've done anything. They're just completing a lot of those balls.
Air Force took the lead 14-7. That got Vanderbilt mad. They came back to tie it at 14, and they're moving for another one. On first down, Taylor will throw. Plenty of time, and he completes it to Jordan. He's hemmed in on the near side. Over there finally making the tackle, Carl Jedinay and Tom Stanberry. But that Jordan coming out of the backfield has been open all day long.
He certainly has. Of course, he's got about 5 men downfield that he has a choice of. And, again, they're not looking for anything spectacular. They picked up another 7 yards on that throw.
From a defensive standpoint, what do you do to stop him, Ken? I know you put pressure on the passer, but is there anything else they can do?
Well, exactly one thing you do. You can come up and start really knocking their helmets off.
There's a man wide open. It's Perry at the 10. He's wrestled down over there. And making the hit over there for Air Force was Dwayne Wilson. But Taylor on the sprint out pass was able to see downfield and get enough protection to make the throw.
They're loading up that right side. They're forcing man-to-man coverage, and they're going in and out over there. Arnaz Perry making a little out move. They're loaded up with 3 receivers on that side. He's got the moves and the speed. They're on the move.
First down at the 11 out of the wishbone. Taylor still has the football. Now he pitches it back to Jordan. He slips and falls over there on the far side. Greg Zollinger made sure that he stayed down. 3:33 and ticking in the first half. We're tied at 14.
We saw a little picture there of just a flash of Watson Brown, their fine offensive coordinator who's leaving to become head coach at Cincinnati. He will be sorely missed by this Vanderbilt ball club and considered to be the mastermind behind this offense.
Well, they do a lot of different things. George McIntyre looking on, the head coach at Vandy, done a tremendous job in turning around the football forces. Their fans told me in the hotel, we're hungry. We haven't been to a bowl in a long time. Taylor's going to throw it on second down into a crowd. It's intercepted on the far side.
Jedinay
comes away with it. And that's just the one thing Taylor didn't want to do, was throw it into a crowd.
Well, he doesn't usually make any mistakes this way, but he did throw this ball into a crowd. Now, Whit Taylor cannot see his receiver, and his vision evidently is impaired, but he looks like he's throwing the ball away and throws it right into Carl Jedinay's hands.
I don't know that he ever saw Jedinay, but Jedinay saw the ball, and with 2:58 left, saves a touchdown, and that will help the Air Force. So thus far, coming into the game, Vanderbilt had turned the football over just 26 times all season, while they'd taken it away 45 times. That's good enough for third in the country on the turnover ratio, but they've turned it over twice today to stop scoring drives, and Air Force has yet to turn the football over. You're watching college football on ESPN. We've got college basketball coming your way. Notre Dame at Davidson, Tuesday, January. They wanted him to handle the football. Kirshner on the inside handoff. Everybody's over there. Staley's over there. O'Connor, along with Steve McCoy, the middle linebacker.
Might be a good time to use your timeouts for Vanderbilt. I think they've got an excellent chance to score in this situation if they can hold the Air Force Academy without getting a first down. I would not be afraid as a coach to use my first downs up in this particular situation on the field.
And they've got all 3 of their timeouts left with 2:34 and ticking left in the first half.
The key is how many yards they pick up on this particular down.
2nd and 7. The sure thing. Kirshner stumbles for about 3 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and about 3.
I know Vanderbilt fans are happy to hear that Manny Young is back in the ball game for that defense. A great player. This is a time I'd perhaps use that first timeout. They know that Air Force is going to punt the ball if they don't pick it up here.
2 minutes left in the first half. We're all tied, 14 apiece. Air Force has just come up with a big interception by Carl Jedinay. Loudon still has the football, and he's wrestled down short of the first down. The ball is loose. I don't know. I think they've marked it down. Let's wait and see. Air Force will retain possession. Loudon had everybody faked out. I think he faked himself out. He forgot to run after he made the fake.
Well, Kevin, I agree with you. I thought something had happened after he had made the fake. He seemed to hesitate at that point, and the whole Vanderbilt ball club jumped on him. A minute 44, as you see on the clock left. Vanderbilt in an excellent situation to get on the board, isn't it?
That'll help you, won't it? He gets it off and drives Manny Young back to his 43-yard line. And he's taken down on the far side. Over there for Air Force to make the tackle, Jason Rouse. So another fine punt, 47 yards by Kubiak. First down for the Commodores. Taylor will throw again. Down the middle he goes, and it's knocked away by Jedinay. Intended for Matthews. And I'll tell you, Jedinay, dropping deep from his left defensive end position, got way back there. He was about 25 yards downfield.
Carl Jedinay made a big league play. He's really an outside linebacker in a 3-4 type defense. Of course, it's called a 50 or 5-2, but he got back and made a fantastic play to knock that ball down.
2nd and 10 for Vanderbilt. Taylor's going to throw it again. Wanted to go down the middle. Now he's in trouble, and he's going to go down. And he goes down in the grasp of Steve Rafferty. Ken, there are differing philosophies on how you stop a passer who is as effective as a Taylor. Some coaches will say you cover with 8 men. Some will say you rush everybody, including half the band. What do you want to do, really?
Well, I think rushing Whit Taylor is really a tough situation. Here we see Whit going over to talk to Watson Brown. That's Watson Brown on George McIntyre's right. But rushing Whit Taylor is almost like rushing Fran Tarkenton or another person who might be a good scrambler, because he has so many people laying off. What you really have to...
Academy's parachuting team, the Wings of Blue, won their 16th national championship in the last 18 years last night out in Arizona, so congratulations.
I wonder why we didn't play that.
3rd and 14. I'm deathly afraid, that's why. Taylor down the middle he goes. He's got Scott wide open. Scott moving to the near side, and he's finally run out of bounds. But it's a first down for Vanderbilt.
Big play. We talk about it time and time again. If you want the big yardage at the end of the ball game, you've got to go down the field. They ran a double post pattern. Chuck Scott coming down the field. Alamo Matthews down there also. Scott has to stop and make the catch. Now he does the wise thing. He is directly for the out of bounds, and that stops the clock.
1:04 left. First down, Vanderbilt at the Air Force 28. Taylor's going to throw again. Here comes the rush. Flag is down. He fires it down the middle for Scott again. It's incomplete. And when you see a flag around the line area, you got to say a holding. Another flag now dropped downfield in the secondary. George McIntyre among the many trying to figure out what's going on out there.
Well, I did not see any infraction downfield after that catch, but it could have been a little unnecessary roughness.
They're going to talk it over, and here we go. Let's see what happened. Offsetting penalties, holding against Vanderbilt, and as you said, a late hit against Air Force, and that was a tough break for Air Force, because here you see, I think what they did.
Had holding on the offense, live ball. We had a dead ball foul, personal foul, striking, 1 here. First down, automatic.
They marked them both off, and that gives Vanderbilt 1st and 5. Well, George McIntyre has to like that.
Well, you can work out the net yardage on that, Kevin, and let me know what that means.
Well, I'll tell you, he picked up 5 yards.
That's exactly right.
He went from 1st and 10, had a holding penalty called against him, and now has a 1st and 5. They're still talking about it. Let's wait and see.
I think they got a problem on that call, but I guess they know what they're doing.
You had it right originally. You said you hope they come back to the original line of scrimmage, and now that's where they got it.
Now let's hear it again. I don't think he wants to talk to us again. It's offsetting penalties, and that's exactly what he said. The ball stays where it is, and that's what it should have been to begin with. I had never seen it marked off.
Well, you got to put on that striped shirt, because you had that one figured out. 57 seconds left. It's 1st and 10 again. With Taylor to throw it. Now he throws downfield, and he's got Roach at the 5-yard line. Back there covering for Air Force, but not very well that time, was Joe Arata. Phillips with that big catch gives Vanderbilt a 1st and goal, and the Commodores take a timeout with 50 seconds left in the first half, and now they're ready to go. They don't spend much time in the huddle when they call a timeout.
They didn't call a timeout. They allowed for them to move the chain up.
All right, 1st and goal. On the first down, the chains move. Throwing for the touchdown, and it's Jordan. Norman Jordan has his 2nd touchdown catch of the afternoon, and Vanderbilt, with 46 seconds left in the first half, has taken the lead. With the conversion attempt to come, they lead 20-14. Here's another look at it.
We'll see this from the end zone. I urge everyone not to leave the room for soda pop or anything, because these people can score so quickly. Just a pass again to Norman Jordan. He gets some coverage from Chuck Peterson, but he gets in for the score.
Anderson on for the conversion out of Zollinger's hole, and he drills it through. Vandy leads Air Force 21-14. And we've had some fireworks here in the first half, with many more to come. Nearly 80,000 on hand at Legion Field in Birmingham. They call it the football capital of the South. Produced 14 points. Anderson stepping into it, a line drive kick. Moore will not field this one. It goes into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Well, with 46 seconds left in the half, Ken, a predominantly running team needs 80 yards for a touchdown. What would you do? Would you put it up in the air and try to get something, perhaps field goal range? Pavlich can reach it from 50 yards and more.
Well, Pavlich can reach it, and of course I think if they're going to go for it, they better go for it very quickly. But I tend to believe they'll probably run this thing out a little bit and go into the halftime and get themselves straight.
Some of the many broadcasters up in the booth calling this game the 6th annual Hall of Fame Classic.
We never get our pictures up there.
Well, that's all right. Marty Lauthan to throw. Good time. He sets up the screen to Greenwood. Good block on the far side. Another man missed his block, and he is smashed to the ground over there. Mark Brown came up to make the tackle, number 2, from the strong safety spot. I didn't see who missed that block, Ken, but I'll tell you what, if they make that block, he's going to get about 25 more yards. Nobody else was over there. Lauthan keeps it himself, makes a great move. He's got some running room and gets out of bounds at the 38-yard line with 19 seconds left.
The guy does have some moves, doesn't he? Woo.
Lauthan trying to get at least a shot for Sean Pavlich. The scoreboard here at Legion Field has just decided to take a little timeout. There were 19 seconds left when it decided. It is 21-14 Vanderbilt, I can tell you that.
Down the field.
Here we go. First down for Air Force from their own 37. Vandy dropping back in deep coverage. Lauthan down the middle for Kirby. Nearly intercepted. He threw it a little bit high. It was Coleman back there defending, number 31, who nearly had the interception. Coleman has picked off 8 this year, which tied the school record at Vanderbilt. In fact, their secondary, well, not only their secondary, but their entire defensive unit, intercepting 24 passes on the season, which also tied a school record.
Just one of the many, as we said earlier, 34 individual Vanderbilt records that were set this year.
Well, you know, Air Force broke 21 of their own school records. Lauthan will throw, and he fires it out to the near side. Simmons, did he get out of bounds? Yes, he did. At about his 46-yard line, and I don't know how much time is left, but there can't be a whole heck of a lot. I would guess about 5-6 seconds.
They're burning a timeout, and I would think that's their
moments. Third down. Keep that in mind for Air Force. They need to pick up 3. Lauthan will throw the football. Wants to go deep. The alley-oop. He's got 3 men down there, and it falls incomplete. Everybody was down there. Leonard Coleman getting up defensively. Mike Brown for Air Force. Well, if there were indeed 10 seconds left, and I don't think there were, because now the half is over, I think the 6 second was accurate. That's the end of the first half at any rate. Vanderbilt leads Air Force 21-14. Second underway in the second half of the Hall of Fame Bowl. Air Force kicking off. That is Clay Parker with the return, but he has trouble and gets only back to his 15-yard line. And over there to make the tackle, Greg Pashishniak for Air Force number 28. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. Glad you're aboard. Happy New Year to everyone out there. It's 21-14. Vanderbilt leading Air Force. Vandy scoring with 50 seconds left right at the end of the first half to take the lead. The Commodores got on top 7-0. Air Force struck for 2 touchdowns to take a 7-point lead. Then Vanderbilt tied it and went ahead. Whit Taylor has had a sensational first half, hitting on 19 of 26 passes for 253 yards, and he's going to work again. Down the middle he goes. Edwards can't find the handle on it this time. Stanberry was covering for Air Force, and Ken, I'm certain that Ken Hatfield, the head coach at Air Force, told his troops that they've got to watch those backs just a little bit more. Norman Jordan had 9 receptions in the first half out of the backfield.
9 receptions, that's sometimes a career. Ken Hatfield concerned. We talked a little bit about mission before the beginning of the second half. He had the Air Force Academy down in the corner of this field, and he was giving them a mission.
He gave them a mission, all right. They better not let Vanderbilt score at the outset of this third quarter. 2nd and 10. Whit Taylor, to no one's surprise, going to pass now, shovels it off to Edwards. And it was some great second effort. He gets about 9 yards. And already in this game, we just mentioned Norman Jordan. He has already set a Hall of Fame Bowl record with 9 receptions in the game thus far for him.
We've seen this play twice. We've even seen it a fake, trying to screen off of it. They keep coming back to it. It's working effectively. Use it till it stops working.
3rd down. 3 for the first. And he's got it, and there's Jordan as he adds to his record. Nice move. Now he's run down. Jedinay was over there to help out on the stop along with Don Smith. But Norman Jordan catching his 10th pass of this game. Every time he catches one, he adds to his own Hall of Fame Bowl record that he set here today.
Well, this is the beginning of the second half. I've got a feeling that he could really rack them up. That he had caught 9 balls coming into the second half. Again, he's caught 10 already. So every pass just makes it a little bit more going toward that record.
And the Falcons now have given up a first down. Vanderbilt with a first down at their 31. The Commodores on the attack. Air Force has to stop them defensively. With Taylor for Perry. He's got it in midfield, run out of bounds by Chuck Peterson. But when they get single coverage, they are deadly.
You're exactly right. Chuck Peterson trying to cover Arnez Perry man for man, cannot do it, and it really goes back to the offensive set that they keep getting these guys in. They keep flooding one side. Arnez Perry head up with Chuck Peterson, runs a 12-yard out, squares it out, and as you can see, Peterson's 5 yards off of it.
The Commodores in Air Force territory at the 49. Anytime you give any quarterback in the country that much time to throw, he's going to pick you apart. Opening of the third quarter, 21-14, Vanderbilt leading. There's Jordan, catch number 11 for him. Picks up about 7 more. Stanberry was over there, but too late. Now they're just not getting any pressure whatsoever on Whit Taylor.
Number 11 for Norman Jordan. They're trying to run some stunts in that Air Force line. There's Whit Taylor. Number of completions in the half, 19 completions. That is also a record, 3 TDs.
And better than 250 yards. That was all in the first half, and he's coming back for more. Out of the wishbone they go. Don't let that fool you, though. Whit Taylor has it, and he's brought down from behind. A fine defensive play that time for Air Force made by Conda Sullivan, number 87. So now that will force them into a 3rd and about 5. A little bit surprising, Ken, that they stayed on the ground.
It is surprising to ever see them run the football.
3rd and 5. You can almost bet they'll go back to the air here. Jordan and Edwards are the setbacks, but they'll quickly become receivers. Taylor down the middle. He wanted to go to Jordan, also in the pattern. It looked like Alama Matthews, and they were right next to each other, and I don't think that's how it was diagrammed, Ken.
Well, you won't see that very often.
And Vandy's going to have to kick it away, so the mission for the Air Force defense has been realized. They were able to stop Vanderbilt on their first possession, and now you'll get a look at Jim Arnold, the All-American punter for Vanderbilt. Mike Kirby is dropping back in single safety at about his own 10-yard line. And with 12:57 left in the third quarter, Vanderbilt leads by 7, but Air Force will get the football. And you can hear the Corps cadets. He didn't get a very good kick. He shanked it off the side of his foot. And as the official walks up the sideline, he finally stops at the 33-yard line. So about a 10-yard kick.
That was not a Jim Arnold kick.
Birmingham, Alabama, Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. Glad you're with us. Hall of Fame Bowl, 21-14. Vandy leading Air Force, but the Falcons of Air Force have just gotten a big break. Punter Jim Arnold of Vanderbilt, the All-American, shanked one for 10 yards, and Vandy has now got to go to work on defense because Air Force ready to strike from their own 33. Louthan gives to the first man through Kirshner, and he barrels for about 4 or 5. Clements was on top of the pile. As you see them peel it off on the bottom of that pile down there for Air Force, Scott Wackenheim, the right tackle.
Looks like he's hurt a little bit. They might line up in a lot of different formations, but basically when they give the football to Kirshner, it doesn't make any difference whether they're in a wishbone or flex bone or whatever you want to call it. That guy's strong.
Only the second running back to go over the 1,000-yard rushing mark in a season at Air Force. Louthan gives it to him again, and he's met immediately this time. Steve Wade and Willie Twyford in there.
You can try to adjust on this play as much as you want, but that's one of the great advantages of the wishbone attack. The quarterback has 2 more options if you decide to close that one.
And so it'll be 3rd and 5 for Air Force. And I'm a little bit surprised, Ken, that Ken Hatfield has not come out throwing on first down. It worked effectively for Air Force in the first half. 3rd and 5 in what most teams would consider a passing situation. The Falcons come out in the wishbone. Louthan gives it to Kirshner, and he barrels over the right side. He's close, but he may be a little short. Wade was in there to hit him initially, the freshman.
John Kirshner looks like he's shaken up a little bit. You might question that call at that point, but this is the Air Force type of ball game. They like to, and at 3rd and 5, we see the mascot of the Falcons, and which is the Falcon, by the way, and that is a prairie falcon, in case you didn't know that, because they're easier to catch and they're easier to train.
I knew that. I knew that was why. Hey, they're going to go for it on 4th down.
I'm surprised. I cannot say this is the move I would make if I were coaching that ball club at this point.
That shows you the respect they have for Vanderbilt's offense. Sundquist in there at fullback. He gets it, first down and then some. Across midfield, the big guy barreling, carrying Manuel Young along with him to the 49 of Vanderbilt. Sundquist coming in to spell Kirshner, and I'll tell you what, when Sundquist gets in there, they don't miss anything.
No, they sure don't. Now, that type of play, again, the straight give off of the wishbone attack. Louthan just sticks it in there. Good blocking at the line of scrimmage. And Sundquist does the rest. But, you know, that type of thing either makes you coach of the year or you look for a new job.
Well, they've gone for a first down 3 times on 4th down and made it. Now on 1st down they throw, and he's got his man Kirby at the 35-yard line. Matthews was there to make the tackle. Well, maybe Ken Hatfield was listening because they went to the pass on 1st down.
Well, I think consistent against Vanderbilt, going to that pass on 1st down, if you can pick yourself up 5, 6, 7 yards, of course, anybody can call him at 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4. Mike Kirby has led this ball club the last 2 years in reception. A great player.
Well, he picked up 14 yards on that one. Caught 30 balls during the regular season. Now from the flex bone. And that is Sundquist over the left side, but he doesn't get very far. He ran into a host of tacklers, including Joe Staley over there. Steve Bearden, number 75, getting up from the bottom of the pile.
Sundquist almost took Louthan with him through the line of scrimmage, and that happens sometimes. Louthan's trying to take the ball back from Sundquist, and of course, once the fullback clamps onto it, he's got it.
George McIntyre wants to see his defensive team now come up with a good series. Air Force was able to stop Vanderbilt, and thus far, Vandy's defensive 11 has not put the clamps on the Falcons' offense. 2nd and 8 for Air Force from the 33 of Vanderbilt. They trail by 7. Louthan will throw. He's got his man wide open. It's Moore. First down inside the 20. Dennis Moore with the catch. The defense back there was Matthews, but it's first down for Air Force.
Good throw by Marty Louthan. Dennis Moore coming in as another wide receiver, going to that flex type of offense. They take out one of the running backs and put in another wide receiver. Just a little turn pattern right in front of the defensive back, Mark Matthews. Good pickup. Air Force is on the move.
Ken, what a superb athlete Marty Louthan, the quarterback at Air Force. Great runner. You can see when he throws. Put something on it. Sundquist up the gut. He's to the 10-yard line.
Now they call him Marty the Magician. You start getting in a trance. You start watching Louthan after a while, and you forget that he's handing that football off. Now they're having some trouble with their fullbacks, both Kirshner and Sundquist. have slight injuries. Kirshner's back in the ball game, and of course you see Sundquist with a little bit of a hobbling injury.
Well, these guys are not built out of the classic fullback mold. Kirshner's only 190 pounds, and Sundquist is a 201-pounder. So they're not your basic Larry Zonka types. There goes Kirshner to the 5-yard line. O'Connor made the hit. The Air Force Corps cadets coming alive.
There he is, Watson Brown. He's given a lot of credit for that Vanderbilt offense. Really an offensive genius. He's got a challenge going to the University of Cincinnati as their new head coach. He'll be sorely missed in Nashville.
Well, it looks like he's calling defensive signals. He's taking over everything. Lauthen, a flag is down. It looked like an Air Force perhaps jumped. The snap count was mixed up.
That's a crucial mistake if that's true.
Let's look at it again.
Again, it looks like to me that Marty Lauthen just comes up with a pretty good play if they can get that one to work.
Well, indeed, it was against Air Force, and it will cost them 5. And I'll tell you, Ken, we said it before, when they have committed a penalty, it's been at a very inopportune time for them.
Again, they're eating up a lot of the clock.
It's still first down, but now they've got to go from the 10-yard line instead of first and goal from the 5, and that changes everything. But still, they come out on the wishbone. Nearly 80,000 on hand. Lauthen calls the same play, gets about 3 yards. McFerrin up from the middle linebacker spot to put him down.
It looked better when they did it the other way.
They operate better when they go offside, and they can get a better chance at that block. There you see the All-American right guard, Dave Schreck, number 79, out of Coon Rapids, Iowa. 6'2", 260-pounder.
Of course, the Air Force Academy is a national university, and their student body is made up of really the all 50 states. Dave Schreck is a 3.4, has a 3.4 grade average.
2nd and 7 for Air Force from the Vanderbilt 7. Kirshner up the middle, down to the 1. John Clemens finally rode him to the turf.
John Kirshner makes a fine run on that straight give up the middle. We see the center lead out. Great block on Twyford. And Staley comes over. Kirshner keeps his feet. Finally ridden down by John Clemens, but not before he gets down to the 1-yard line.
The 2 tight ends checking into the game for Air Force, along with number 3, Mike Brown. He scored a touchdown for Air Force earlier. And now they're going for the tying touchdown. Lauthen still has it, and Clemens makes a big play. John Clemens, the defensive end, drilled Marty Lauthen back at the 5, a loss of 4.
That could be the biggest play of the ball game. You have to question why you'd run with that ball and not give it to Kirshner at that point. But nevertheless, John Clemens comes up with a big play.
Kirshner was in for the touchdown if he had kept the football. Lauthen decided to pull it back.
And he's got that option. That's his call.
That's why it's so difficult to run that triple option as a quarterback. You've got to make instant decisions with people staring you in the face, and unfriendly faces, in fact. We'll wait and see if Ken Hatfield goes for the touchdown. He's been a gambling man all day, but he's been successful at it. 3 times he's gone for a first down on 4th down, and all 3 times he's been successful, twice in his home territory.
Well, I certainly won't say anything this time because I've said that he wouldn't before, and he has gone for it. You can talk all you want about the need to get 3 points. You got to win the ball game. This will tie it up, and you got to come back and score twice. So you either score the field goal now or you do it later.
They're going to go for the field goal. Pavlich is coming on. Zollinger will hold. And for Pavlich, this should be a chip shot.
I think it's a good move. It's a good move.
He'll hit it from about the 12, which will make it a 22-yard attempt for him. And from the 20 to the 29, he is 2 of 3 on the season. He's 15 of 18, including a 57-yarder against Notre Dame, which was a school record. So out of Zollinger's hold, Sean Pavlich will attempt to make it a 4-point game. He drills it through the upright. So Air Force gets on the board first in the second half, and more importantly, they eat up some clock. And with 6:39 left in the 3rd quarter, Vanderbilt is still ahead, but Air Force is coming back. 21-17. Welcome back. Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, the Hall of Fame Bowl. Kevin Slayton with Ken Willard. Folks, that is Watson Brown. They look alike.
Well, they do look alike, and they're both good-looking guys, but that is the offensive genius that's going to Cincinnati, not the defensive coach that we showed you earlier.
You're digging your way out of that hole real well. They're both good-looking guys. On his own goal line, this is Coleman for Vanderbilt. And he's got a big hole down the middle. He runs into his own man, and Pavlich helped out. And he's brought down, but not before he gets to the 37-yard line. So Coleman with a nifty kickoff return. Only his own man stopped him from taking that one coast to coast. And with 6:32 left, it's 21-17 Vanderbilt in the lead, and they've got the football. They opened the third quarter with it, and Air Force was able to hold them. Whit Taylor goes to the air once more. Big rush coming down. He'll go. There's a flag down on the play. And let's wait and see what it's all about. Chris Funk was the man who finally got him. Jason Rouse put initial pressure on. The flag is in the Air Force secondary, and you don't like that if you're an Air Force fan.
Well, I thought there was some grabbing of Alama Matthews' jersey, and it was. Alama Matthews was trying to break back across the middle, and the defensive back was holding on to his jersey, and the referee called it.
Well, you got to keep harping on it, Ken. Again, every single time a penalty's been called against them, it's been a crusher. Here they have the big sack to get the momentum, and they've got the penalty downfield. They had first and goal at the 5.
49 holding downfield.
And they get a 5-yard penalty to move them back to the 10. So they've really been crunching penalties that have hurt Air Force this afternoon. Now that one was called against Carl Jedinay.
Look at the formation moving around.
It looks like a fire drill out there. Whit Taylor on the draw to Edwards. Trying to find some running room, but Conda Sullivan slammed him to the turf at midfield. Little or no gain, perhaps a yard.
Gee, they have more. It looks like everybody breaking for stairwells to jump out of a building.
They're moving.
That's an exciting looking offense, and of course what they're trying to do is keep the defensive team from shifting on them. And if you are a defensive team that goes to a strong or weak side, it really takes that away from you.
It's 2nd and 8 now for Vanderbilt. From their own 49, Matthews in motion. Taylor will throw. Wants to go for Scott. Great pass and catch. Scott has it. He's down at the 21-yard line. Jedinay was back there defending. He finally made the tackle, but Scott has a first down. A 30-yard pickup.
Running that deep crossing pattern. They've got Roach and Scott both coming across. And there's Chuck Scott, who comes in, makes the catch right in front of Jedinay. And finally brought down by Don Smith. This Vanderbilt team is lightning.
First down at the Air Force 21. 5:07 left, third quarter. Vandy leads it by 4, 21-17. Taylor will throw again. Look at the time he's got. Edwards has it in the flat. He's in trouble, but makes 5 yards out of it, maybe 6. Kelly and Stanberry over there to make the tackle.
They've got a lot of great receivers. The real key to that passing game is Whit Taylor standing back there for, for as long as he needs to hit a receiver. At that time, Alama Matthews was open approximately 14 yards downfield. He had his choice, really, whether to go to Edwards or to hit Alama Matthews downfield, and he elected to go with the short receiver.
2nd and 5. Vanderbilt now threatening, knocking on the door at the Air Force 16. Taylor to throw again. He gets rid of it, and he completes it to Jordan. Makes a nice move and gets the first down inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Pretty nifty move by Norman Jordan. Jordan just running from an up-back formation. Little slot. Now watch him put on brakes. Sean Smith also puts on brakes, but not before Jordan turns it back upfield and gets the first down.
First and goal for the Commodores. I'll tell you, it's like a hockey game. They're going from end to end. There's no midfield play in this one. 21-17, the Commodores by 4. Taylor to the air for the touchdown, and Taylor, he's got it. but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, it's a great catch.
Holding against Vanderbilt.
Oh, what a break for the Air Force Academy. Chuck Taylor coming out of that backfield, Chuck Scott rather coming out making a great catch.
Illegal use of the hands. Offense. First down.
Well, if you're George McIntyre of Vanderbilt, you say, oh no. Ken Hatfield says it's about time.
Well, we'll see the catch anyway. Fantastic catch. That was by Norman Jordan.
All right, first down. Still goal from the 13 now, though. Makes it a little bit tougher. Taylor rolling out, throws for the end zone, and it's intercepted in the end zone. Don Smith. And Air Force has come up with another turnover deep in their own territory. Oh, what a big play.
Whit Taylor has made some mistakes today. This is one of his biggest. He throws the ball right down the field. I don't think there was any chance of completing that pass. Don Smith makes the interception. We see it from another angle. Again, he's trying to hit his receiver downfield, but Don Smith is standing right in front of Phil Roach. No chance. Big mistake. Air Force is back in the game.
All right, we'll come back to the Hall of Fame Bowl for more. Birmingham, Alabama, Legion Field, the Hall of Fame Bowl. Don Smith has just intercepted a Whit Taylor pass in his own end zone, and Air Force has it 1st and 10 from their own 20. They trail by 4. Louven still has the football, runs into trouble, and down he goes. Carpenter coming up to make the stop. Or check that, make it O'Connor. Bob O'Connor to make the tackle for a loss of a yard. And you know, Ken, Whit Taylor, the Vanderbilt quarterback, has hit on 34 passes today. Spectacular statistics, but he's had 2 intercepted, and that's only the 3rd time all year in one game that he's been intercepted twice or more.
Well, he only was intercepted 12 times all year, so 2 times in a game is a lot for him.
They've also fumbled the football. 3 turnovers for Vandy today. Louven's going to throw on 2nd and 11. He's in trouble. He gets rid of it to Brown. Brown cuts back and makes a nice move to get to the 25-yard line before O'Connor once more is there to make the stop.
And he was bombed. Bob O'Connor came across and had a clean shot at him and nailed him. Mike Brown, a little guy, 5'9", 165, a sophomore. He's trying to get back downfield now. Mike Brown's out there as just a little safety valve, and he almost gets trapped, but he gets it off to Brown. Now, Brown is not big, as I said. Watch him get hit by Bob O'Connor. Oh, it hurts.
Well, when you're only 165 pounds and those big linebackers like O'Connor, a 230-pounder, come seeing you with the ball, their eyes light up. 3rd and 6. Big play. The pitch to Brown. Great block on the far side. He's not going to get that first down. Matthews made the play on the far side, and a big play. O'Connor over there to help out, but it was Mark Matthews coming up from the defensive secondary to hold Brown without the first down, and I have to believe that Air Force will kick it away.
I would think so at this point, although I'm not really making any predictions on this Air Force team.
1:46 left in the 3rd quarter. They only need a little more than a yard, but Kubiak's going to come on to kick it. And he'll have to really bang one to get him out of a bit of a hole. Manny Young trots deep in single safety. There is Kubiak.
They've got everybody up. Vanderbilt's got everyone up. No, they're holding him up.
Bad snap. Kubiak still gets it away and does a great job. And he gets a good roll of the football all the way to the Vandy 45-yard line. And I'll tell you, that's what you call thinking under pressure.
He came out of it smelling like a rose.
And we'll return to Birmingham for more football in a moment. Alabama, Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. George McIntyre, a very concerned Vanderbilt head coach, patrolling the sidelines. His team leads, but only by 4, 21-17, with 1:14 left in the 3rd quarter. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 45. Now they're going to go to the running game. No, Taylor still has it. He sure faked me out. And Scott has the catch at the 35-yard line. That was some nifty ball work in the backfield by Whit Taylor. Everybody in the stadium thought he had it, and so did the Air Force secondary.
Well, the amazing thing is Whit Taylor almost dropped that football after he'd made the fake. And he's still, of course, Chuck Taylor coming across underneath. They had cleaned everybody out on that right side. Chuck Taylor comes across, makes a reception. They seem to have any number of plays they can pull out of that bag of tricks.
They're going out of the wishbone. And he gives it to the first man through. Believe it was Edwards. And he gets 2 or 3. It was Edwards. 55 seconds left in the third quarter. 21-17 Vanderbilt.
This is a real key drive for the Air Force Academy. They have to stop Vanderbilt, I believe, at this point. They're not going to get down very much and have a chance to come back.
The last time they got the turnover, the interception by Don Smith in the end zone. Matthews in motion. Taylor will throw. Gets a little pressure, wings it out for Roach. He's got it at the 8-yard line. Peterson was back there defending. But it's a first down for Vandy at the 7-yard line is where they're going to spot it.
This is a great pass by Whit Taylor. This is a flag pattern run by Roach. Roach goes down about 10 yards, starts to make a post pattern, then turns it back outside, and he barely gets it over the hands of the outstretched defenders. But Phil Roach ran a beautiful pattern, and Whit Taylor put it right on the money.
First and goal for Vanderbilt, and they burn one of their timeouts with 22 seconds left in the third quarter. They're leading it by 4, and they're threatening to go in. But about 3 minutes ago, they were threatening to go in, and they didn't get in there. Top Rank Boxing coming your way on ESPN January 6th. That's Thursday night, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific time, live from the Sands Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Sal Marciano on hand to call all of the play-by-play for you. That's Thursday, January 6th, live on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific time. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard at the Hall of Fame Bowl, the 6th annual Hall of Fame Bowl, the first sellout in Hall of Fame Bowl history. Nearly 80,000 on hand here at Legion Field in Birmingham. They said it was going to be a high-scoring shootout, and everybody that said that has not been wrong. 21-17, Vandy leading it. They've turned the ball over twice in the Air Force end zone already. Taylor now on first and goal from the 7. Still has it, pitches it back to Scott, and he's run down on the far side by Jedinay.
They will play some games with his personnel. There was Chuck Scott running back in the wishbone formation. They've run Alamo Matthews back there quite a few times, but Chuck Scott, normally a flanker, gets a chance to carry the football. He may not have appreciated it on that particular play.
Well, you know who just checked back in is Norman Jordan, number 34 for Vanderbilt. He's already caught 2 touchdown passes. He caught a third, but it was nullified by a holding penalty. Second and goal from the 4. Taylor's going to throw it. Back the other way he goes. Touchdown! And it was Norman Jordan.
You can see it all the way. Norman Jordan comes in and gets up in a wing formation. They bring all the receivers left, and he sneaks back across the field. He's the only receiver going back that way. Whit Taylor rolls just a little bit. We see the play from the end zone. Whit Taylor rolls to his left, stops, throws back. Watch Norman Jordan, the only person out there.
I had a feeling when I saw him come back into the huddle that he was bringing in his own number. Ricky Anderson on for the extra point, and he makes it 28-17. Vanderbilt now by 11. And how big was that procedure penalty against Air Force when they had first and goal at the Vandy 5? They were forced to settle for a field goal.
Now, also, you have to go back to that play.
13 catches, 126 yards for Jordan. Taylor is 27 of 37. 2 interceptions, but he's thrown 4 touchdown passes for 379 yards. Anderson stepping into it. This is Moore waiting at his own 1. And he's in trouble and buried as he crosses the 17-yard line. On the hit there for Vanderbilt, Danny Stafford, number 30, was the first to meet him. Well, that drive took all of 1 minute and 2 seconds for Vandy to move 55 yards on just 5 plays. There's a penalty flag down, and it's going to go against Air Force once more. We'll wait and hear the call.
Gee, I didn't think he got far enough to clip anybody.
Well, the old saying, when it rains, it pours.
Well, you'd like for, if your team's going to commit a clip, at least you'd like for it to be up further upfield.
Speaking of rain, all of a sudden the sun has gone away here in Birmingham, and it's cloudy. 6 seconds left, third quarter. Air Force needs to sustain some momentum. They need to move the football from their own 8. And that's the man that usually can do it. Kirshner barreling over the 10, getting to about the 12 as the third quarter has come to an end. And Vanderbilt has increased their lead. They led by 7 at halftime. They lead by 11 at the end of the third quarter. When we return to Birmingham, we've got 15 minutes left in the Hall of Fame Bowl. Birmingham, Alabama for the 6th Hall of Fame Bowl. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. 28-17, Vanderbilt leading Air Force. But the Falcons have the football, 2nd and 6 from their own 12-yard line. Marty Louthan, the quarterback. He's had a great day, both passing and running the football, and he's going to throw it this time. Down the middle, a diving catch by Kirby. It's still loose. Did he catch the football? No, they're going to rule it incomplete. And Ken Willard,
I want to see that again. I want to see that one again. I don't know what went on, but that's the craziest back and forth I've seen in a long time. I would love to be able to see that play again, and anybody who was sitting in the stands would like to have a TV.
The boos are cascading down.
We could not see the ball hit the ground.
As far as I could see, it never did, but you don't know until we can maybe get another look at it.
He was trying to hit Mike Kirby. We get a chance to look at the replay. Kirby was running a post pattern. Now he makes a beautiful diving catch. He's down, but the ball pops up immediately. Now it starts to get picked up by Matthews. He kicks it in the air and goes right to the little guy, Mike Brown. Gee, I don't know about that one.
I know about it. It never hit the ground. This is Greenwood at the 30. Makes a nice move up to the 40. What they called on the play, they called the catch good by Kirby and down at that point.
Well, there's nothing you can say about that call, but of course, you'd have to say that whistle must have sounded awfully quick because it looked like to me he hit very quickly and that ball popped up immediately. And what an exciting play. I was glad to see that one.
At any rate, Air Force still has the football and a first down at the 40, and they're moving. First down for the Falcons now. Louthan looking sharp when he's going to the air. Out of the wishbone. Down the middle he goes, and he overshot his man Dennis Moore at the 45 of Vandy. Boy, he was open.
Dennis Moore.
Keeps it himself, now pitches it back. Nice pitch to Moore, or to Brown, I should say, and he's run out of bounds at midfield. Great timing on the pitch by Louthan.
Mike Brown's got that speed to turn the corner. He gets a lot of help from Marcus Greenwood, who has delivered some great blocks today. One of those earlier to free Brown for that long touchdown.
First down for the Air Force at the Vanderbilt 49. 13:49 left in this one. 28-17, Vanderbilt leading. The Falcons won't quit. They're still in the wishbone now. First down. And Louthan's going to the air. Down the sideline he goes. Nearly intercepted by Mark Brown. It was intended for Scott Thomas. And I don't think Louthan ever saw Mark Brown because he was sneaking up from that strong safety spot. And for a moment, Thomas was wide open down that sideline.
They're playing that 3 deep zone, and of course there was virtually no way he could have seen Mark Brown, but Mark Brown might have headed off the other way and could have sealed this game for sure. Scott Thomas, by the way, had 1 reception coming into the ball game, and that was for 70 yards and a TD. Not a bad average.
They go to him when they need 6. 2nd and 10. Louthan to the air. Here comes the rush. He gets rid of it to Greenwood. The screen is set up. Greenwood with some great running. All individual skill as he gets to his own 33, and a flag is dropped. After the play,
it looked like a late hit. Or at least that's what the Air Force Academy thinks.
And they didn't like it either.
Now, Marcus Greenwood did that all on his own because his offensive lineman, Tony Reno, missed his block completely.
Well, both men that were out in front missed. They had 2 guys to hit, and neither one of them got hit. But Greenwood makes the first down, and they're going to get a penalty tacked on.
15 big ones. Big break for the Air Force Academy.
Well, they're down to the 18, and I'm telling you, when Lauthan goes to the air, he's awfully effective. First down at the 18.
Maybe Coach Hatfield is seeing something that we should have done that more often. But in the Hawaii game, which was the last ball game, Marty Lauthan passed for over 247 yards.
Out of the wishbone, Air Force operating. Kirby, the only wide receiver. That's Kirshner. He's not going anywhere. Wade was there, but the first man to hit him was number 79, Willie Twyford. Wade was helping out.
John Kirshner seems to have an ongoing problem. He's getting up very slowly from several of the plays he's carried.
They lost one on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 11. Kirshner is going to come off the field.
He's running like he has a little bit of a shoulder problem. Very likely he does. That's the type of thing that keeps coming back, shoulder or rib.
There is George McIntyre. He wants to see what's going on. Inside to Sundquist. He's heading for the end zone, and he's run out of bounds by Young at the 3.
Gee, you could see it coming. Ran that straight give, and he made that little circle. Everybody blocking down. He comes up.
First and goal for Air Force, and Sundquist is only a junior, and so is Kirshner. They're coming back for another year, along with their quarterback, Marty Lauthan.
We see it from the end zone. Again, Sundquist just sets up field, and Manny Young comes over to knock him out of bounds. He's got 6 written all over that one.
First and goal from the 3. We were talking about Lauthan passing. He's hit 11 of 17 for 136 yards today. First and goal inside. Touchdown for the Air Force. It was Sundquist that got the call. So the Falcons get right back in it, and we're going to get another look at it.
If this play looks familiar, it's because it's the same play. That offensive tackle blocking down, Sundquist just filling in behind him. Good run, lots of power, 6 points.
Sundquist in this game, just spelling John Kirshner, has rushed 10 times for 62 yards. He's carried it for over 6 yards a crack.
No wonder these players come into the ball game with so many rushing yards to their credit.
He doesn't even start. Now they're going for 2. 12:45 left in the game, and we've got a flag. You know, Ken, we could take this moment to certainly send all of our prayers, and I'm sure all of everyone's prayers watching this game, to Derek Foster, the tailback for Air Force, who was injured in a car accident at the end of the season. In fact, after the season had ended in early December, and he is still in a coma in a Colorado hospital. So we certainly wish the best for Derek Foster, and of course all of the Air Force people feel the same way and are hoping and praying for his recovery.
Well, I would say today his helmet is in that locker room, and he's on the minds of all of the Air Force players for sure. Every one of them, of course, his teammate, and wishing the best for him.
Well, the penalty went against Air Force, and if they go for 2 now, they'll have to go from the 8-yard line. And again, a crucial time for a penalty when you're going for a 2-point conversion.
They seem to occasionally get stuck on self-destruct, and the timing's very bad for the type of situation they're in right now.
Well, it's not really going to hurt them if they don't make the conversion. They're still going to need a point conversion anyway, even though the 5-yard penalty has cost them back to the 8-yard line. 8 times Air Force has been penalized for 64 yards in this game, and they've been big ones.
You know, this point is a little meaningless at this point to go for this 2-point, because if you're going to try to win this ball game.
That's what I mean. The touchdown, it's going to take a touchdown either way.
And that's too much time. Now, what they were trying to do was get the angle, I have to say.
Well, I think they're upset.
They're up
for the 2 points. They're going for it from the 13-yard line. 2 delay of game penalties in a row. Lauthan's going to put it up under heavy pressure. Gets rid of it for Greenwood. It's incomplete. Again, not that big of an incompletion because they're still down by 5. And when we return, there will be 12:45 left. A 5-point lead for Vandy.
Vanderbilt, metric or add Trackmaster wrench to your tool chest for the low cost of a...
Welcome back to the Hall of Fame Bowl. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. Ken, a point that you brought up during the break. Perhaps Ken Hatfield had something in mind when he was going for that 2-point conversion.
Well, as we were saying at the break, but perhaps he wanted to put the onus on Vanderbilt's back if they came back and Air Force scored, then Vanderbilt would have to come back, and they'd have to make a 2-point conversion to beat them, or either try to tie them. And of course, in this type of ball game, you're going to go for the 2 points in the win, so the monkey would be on Coach McIntyre's back.
Look at the drive for Air Force. 92 yards in only 10 plays, and they only used 2.5 minutes off the clock. Loudman went to the air, and he did it successfully. The kickoff was muffed by Vandy. They've got it at their 22. And now it's up to the Air Force defense as the Corps Cadets screaming defense along the near side. 12:42 left. Still plenty of time. With Taylor at the controls for Vandy. He's going to throw deep on first down, and it's intercepted. Jedinay has it at the Vanderbilt 40. He's back to the 20 before he's run down. And give credit to the Air Force pass rush. They finally got to Taylor and pressured him.
They've been getting turned the last 2 series of plays. Of all times for Whit Taylor to make a bad throw, he just made the worst throw of the day. He goes back now. He's trying to go deep, but he is simply underthrows this ball. Jedinay, who drops deeply, comes up with the play, and he brings it back to the 22-yard line. Big play for the Air Force. An ill-conceived throw by Whit Taylor.
Jedinay's 2nd interception of the season. Whit Taylor's 3rd interception of the day.
This has not happened to Whit Taylor all year. Again, he simply underthrows.
First down for Air Force at the 21. There's the big guy, Sundquist, barreling up the middle. Or make that Kirshner. Now he's back in the game. They're just interchanging the fullbacks. And they're fired up, the Falcons are.
Well, I hate to say they look alike, but they do run alike.
They certainly do. 4 turnovers now against Vanderbilt, and as we made the point repeatedly in the first half, they came into this game. They'd only made 26 turnovers all season long. Their turnover ratio, as opposed to how many they'd given up and taken away, was the 3rd best in the country. Kirshner now is over the 100-yard mark with 103 yards, and he's going for more inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
This is the Academy's type of game right now. Gee, they've got all the time in the world. 11:49 left to go in the 4th quarter, down by 5 points. They're using that ball control offense to a T, and they've got a big fullback in John Kirshner who can not only eat up the yards, but eat up the clock.
They spotted at the 9, 1st and goal from the 9. It's amazing when you know Kirshner is going to be coming at you, and he still churns out the yardage. There he goes again to the 5.
If you're a defensive lineman, you've got to be thinking, when is Marty Louthan going to fake me and keep the ball? And so you keep going on that. And then the one time that you really clamp down on Kirshner, of course, Louthan's got the ball or out on the pitch.
Well, if you're Vanderbilt, do you change your defensive strategy? Do you mix it up a little bit?
There's very little you can do against a wishbone except play good, solid defense. It's important that your defensive end, or you stay at home, and he's got to be the most important guy. He's got to get that quarterback every time. You've got to get inside help for that fullback.
And there goes Kirshner carrying bodies with him to about the 3. Perhaps he got to the 2-yard line. Again, Air Force is trying to score at the end of the field where all of the Vanderbilt people have stacked themselves in the stands, and they're making a lot of noise.
I don't think enough can be said for that offensive line of Dave Uzel, Tony Reno, Ricard Smith, Dave Schreck, Scott Wackenheimer. They're not the biggest guys in the world, and they're working against some pretty big guys for Vanderbilt, but they're moving them out right now, especially those 2 guys, Twyford and Wade for Vanderbilt, are big, strong guys, and Smith, Reno, and Schreck are doing a great job.
3rd down. Kirshner fighting for the goal line. He found it.
They give it to him.
John Kirshner has given Air Force the lead with 10 minutes and 12 seconds left.
We talked about that offensive line. They move these guys out, and John Kirshner gets hit right at the line of scrimmage, but keeps himself going and keeps his legs moving until he's into the end zone.
Good call that time by the officials as he was able to maintain his balance and not let his knee touch the ground. They're going for 2 again. Louthan, he wants to throw pressure on him. He fires. It's intercepted by Manny Young. So that ends that threat. Although Air Force still has the lead, they don't get the 2-point conversion, but they've got the lead. With 10:04 left, they lead it by 1.
Hello, Hello everybody, I'm Bill Dance, and I want to tell you about a fantastic new product that can really improve your fishing.
Willard, during that conversion, I just happened to look up at the clock, and they ran 8 seconds off the clock during a conversion attempt.
As you said, that could be a big play.
The way it's going, Air Force leading 29-28. Carlos Mateo steps into it. And down at the 2-yard line, here come the Vanderbilt Commodores with Coleman. Or check that, make it Clay Parker, and he gets a good run back. And a flag now comes into the action a little bit late.
I think it's unnecessary. Well,
the Air Force people are pointing against Vanderbilt. Let's see what it is.
It sure is.
But there's the scoring drive. Air Force is speeding things up. They just take 2.5 minutes every time. Of course, they only had to move 21 yards that time.
A clip against Vanderbilt. We'll put them back.
That was an awfully late flag that came flying into the proceedings. 9:58 left. Again, though, they ran 8 seconds off during that conversion attempt. Boy, what a big play that would be if it comes down to somebody needing to kick a field goal with 5 seconds left. 29-28, Air Force.
This is no time for Vanderbilt to panic. They've got plenty of time. We can see that they can score in 53 seconds, much less 9 minutes and 58 seconds. They've got to go back and run their offense. They're trying to eat up too much of the clock. Well, not trying to eat up too much of the field, I should say. Go back and run that little short pop offense.
With Taylor now on 1st and 25 because the clip occurred after the play was blown dead. That's a big play. Jordan slides to make the catch at the 24-yard line. And with Taylor that time, we're keeping a clock on him, had 6 seconds to throw the football.
That is way too much time if you're the defensive line coach for the Air Force Academy. And isn't amazing when it really gets tense and everything really gets tight, you get back to the fact you do what you do best. Vanderbilt will go back to their short passing game. Air Force will run the football.
2nd and 18. Again, that penalty coming after the play had been blown dead, and that makes a big difference. Matthews in motion. Taylor will throw. Plenty of time. Now he gets rid of it and hits Edwards down the middle to about the 35-yard line. It'll still be a 3rd and 8.
Gee, you got to come with some pressure on that quarterback or he's going to stand back there. If the other one was 6 seconds, that had to be 7 or 8 seconds that he had.
And we've got another flag down, this time against Air Force, and that'll let Vanderbilt out of the hole because it'll be a 1st down.
That play was set up earlier when Norman Jordan caught that other pass. They protested the fact that the defensive back had come up and hit him. When that occurred this time on a low pass, the referee dropped his flag. So you can set them up.
Well, I'll tell you something. We've had some action here. 29-28, Air Force over Vandy with 9:07 left. And there isn't a soul that's gotten up even to go get a hot dog because you'll miss a touchdown. With Taylor now on 1st down. He's going to throw again. No surprise, is it? He screens it outside to Jordan. Got a good block on the outside, and he dives inside the 40 to the 37-yard line, where he is finally brought down by Kelly, the nose guard.
Steve Kelly finally brings him down. Rob Monaco out in front makes a good block on that play. A double screen, making the screen to his right, comes back and hits a delay screen back to his left. Monaco out in front of him, gets Jordan downfield.
Another 1st down for Vanderbilt. Taylor now to the air once more. Plenty of time again. Now the protection breaks down. He's in trouble, and he's run out of bounds on the far side. Tom Stanberry was the man who finally got to him, but he had an awful lot of time to throw and pick out a receiver before he had to run out of the pocket.
Whit Taylor may not run very often, but when he does run, he's pretty quick. He got out there on that sideline as quick as anybody I've seen. Just a little guy, 5'11", 185 pounds, from Shelbyville, Tennessee.
2nd down and 11. He lost just 1 yard. He's hit on 32 of 43 passes today, and he's going for more. He was hit as he threw the ball that time. And Air Force able to mount the pressure. Jason Rouse was in there, along with Steve Kelly. That little guy there has thrown for 415 yards. What a day he's had. The negative note, he's been intercepted 3 times. Charlie Heath now into the lineup for Air Force. 3rd and 11 for Vandy. Big play. Taylor picks Jordan out, but he's drilled on the far side, and it was Jedinay who nailed him short of the first down.
I tell you, Norman Jordan must have blisters on his hands after a ball game. He's caught so many balls today, and I'd keep sending him out there. That 9 or 10 yard action on every pass pattern is something that will make that team a winner.
Well, they're going to bring on Ricky Anderson. There he is, the place kicker, number 96. 14 field goals in 22 attempts, a school record at Vanderbilt. And he'll hit this one from the 40-yard line, or about the 39, so make it a 49-yard attempt. And it would put Vanderbilt in the lead. A high snap and a low kick, and it is no good. Air Force maintains the lead. And when we come back, Air Force has the ball and 7.5 minutes to kill.
I'm Robert Redford. This is an American bald eagle. 200 years ago, and
7:24 left. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. Glad you're with us. Don't go away. Air Force leading Vanderbilt 29-28. Happy New Year to everyone. And of course, it's a very happy one right now for the Air Force Academy if they can hold on. The inside handoff to Kirshner, and he barrels his way for about 3 or 4. Boy, that guy's taking the load today.
Well, he took a load right then because John Wyndham came in and spared him. That could have been another 15 yards on top of that. This is the time when you got to hold down your exuberance and play football.
Wackenheim, Schreck, Smith, Reno, and Uzel reaching into their hearts and finding out what they've got left on that offensive front for Air Force. They want to kill some time. They nearly missed on the exchange. Kirshner spinning forward to about the 40. John Wyndham finally buried him and made sure. 6:33 left. 29-28 Air Force.
John Kirshner hurling that 190 pounds into that big defensive line of Vanderbilt. He's going to be sore tomorrow morning. But who knows? With 6 minutes and 17 seconds, he might be happy too.
A 190-pound fullback going against a front line that reads like this: 230, 250, 253, and 240. 3rd and 3. Louthan pitches it back to Greenwood, turns the corner, first down at the 45. Matthews came up to make the hit along with Young. But Marcus Greenwood, when he has touched the football, has done a great job. He's also thrown some key blocks.
He certainly has. He's been a player today, both with the football in his hands and without it. Louthan getting rid of that ball quickly that time, very unlike his normal move in coming down that line of scrimmage. But Marcus Greenwood turned it into a first down.
And a big first down with 5:45 left. There goes Kirshner, and he picks up 5 or 6 this time. And as we watch the Air Force offense, Ken, we must remember that the Air Force defensive unit has done such a tremendous job of containing Whit Taylor in the second half. They've scored, Vanderbilt has, just 7 points after putting 21 on the board in the first half.
They have finally put pressure on him.
Kirshner unofficially now with 131 yards, and he's carried it 31 times. And when you bring in the fact that Sundquist, his replacement, has carried it 10 times, 41 times they've given that ball to the fullback for nearly 200 yards. And there goes Sundquist, who just carried it for the 11th time. And he's about 2 yards shy of the first down.
Now, if you're coaching Vanderbilt's defensive line, you've got to keep your guys from making gambles, because a gamble right now will bury you. And you've got to go on and play the defense the way you're supposed to play it, and play to stop that particular play. You don't want to start trying to cover up for your buddy because you think you know what the answer is.
3rd and a long one. for Air Force from the Vanderbilt 46-yard line. 4.5 minutes left. And they go to the bread and butter. And they stop him short. Sundquist did not make it. Bob O'Connor getting up off the pile. Mark Brown, the strong safety, came in to help out. Well, now do you gamble, Ken Willard?
I would not. You're asking me? No, I'd kick it away.
I think Ken Hatfield's going to go for it. Now, Air Force has had trouble on third down conversions, as George McIntyre looks on from the Vanderbilt bench. But they've been 1,000% on fourth down. They've had 3 shots at it that they've gone for, and they've converted it 3 times. They're going to call a timeout and talk it over.
Well, it's not an easy decision at this point, but you've got a 1-point lead. I'd punt it away.
All right, we'll find out what the decision is when we return to Birmingham, Alabama.
TV Guide announces an important money-saving offer.
If you've been thinking of subscribing to TV Guide, now's the time.
Going for it.
That's what you said you'd do.
I agree, because even if you kick it, Whit Taylor would have 3:46 left in the game. He doesn't need that much time to drive it down. Loudon still has it. He's got a first down, and he might be gone. Mark Matthews is chasing him. He's going to score. I told you I'd go for it.
You did. You did. You should have been coaching.
46 yards. Marty Loudon is being mobbed in the end zone.
What a play. Everyone in the stadium is following John Kirshner. Ted Sundberg, expecting him to go for it. He's got the ball.
That was the previous play on third down when they didn't make it. On fourth down now, Air Force is 4 of 4. They've gone for the first down 4 times and made it. On third down, Ken, they're only 2 out of 10.
I was glad that wasn't the right play, because I said that really was a fantastic play if he flipped it back.
All right, they lead by 7. Pavlich on for the conversion. They lead by 8. 36-28. And I tell you, folks around the country have to be stunned, because nobody would have believed this would have happened.
Let's wait and see. There's the fake to Kirshner. Now he just follows his halfback round right on up into the line of scrimmage, and he just takes off and starts running. Mark Matthews is the only person close to him, and Marty Loudon has gained a lot of yards, and he's got a little speed. He takes it in. What a play for the Air Force Academy. Now we get back in that situation where if Vanderbilt scores,
they've got to go for 2.
They've got to go for 2 to tie it.
Loudon is no slouch. He's got the breakaway capabilities. His longest run of the season was 72 yards. That one covering 46 yards. He's rushed now 13 times for 81 yards. Remember the Rose Bowl game here on ESPN. Tuesday, January 4th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific time. Very happy to bring it your way here on ESPN. The first time that we'll have the opportunity to carry the Rose Bowl. Jim Simpson will be out there along with Bud Wilkinson to call all of the action for you. 3:38 left. Mateos to kick off. He kicks the squib kick. It's bounding around. I think Air Force has it. They do. And I think it's Pashishniak. It looked like number 28, Greg Pashishniak, and he's been down there. He's been the first man down on every kickoff.
Boy, that will leave you limp. I feel sorry for Mike Matthews, who was a fullback for Vandy, was put up on that ball club, and he simply didn't pick the ball up in time. Greg Pashishniak got down and got on top of it. This Air Force Academy is hungry.
Mateos drilled a low grounder, and that's a tough one to handle. 3:34 left. They're giving it to Kirshner. No chances being taken. And they finally stop him for no gain. 36-28 Air Force. It's the 6th annual Hall of Fame. 3:20 and ticking.
Well, they say every first down means 2 minutes off the clock. You got 2 timeouts left for Vanderbilt. They need to get this ball back.
Well, more importantly, they need to stop Air Force right where they are, because they're already just within field goal range. if they gain any more yards, Pavlich probably wouldn't have much of a problem booting it through. Kirshner took the handoff. Lauthan took an extremely hard hit after he handed it off. Or make it Sundquist now in at fullback. He lost a couple of yards on the play. Well, that really doesn't matter, I guess, because it's still third down. They just want to maintain possession. Vanderbilt has called for a timeout, and a reminder that Ken Willard and I will be choosing our Vitalis player of the game, and we ought to have about 7 of those to give out today. All right, we'll return for more after this. Sideline very concerned for Vanderbilt. The pitch comes back out of the hands of Marty Lauthan. They don't get the first down. Vanderbilt trying to call for another quick timeout, and it's 4th down. And we're going to see Sean Pavlich on to try to put this game away for Air Force. 2:40 left. Kevin Slayton along with Ken Willard. Boy, I hope you've stayed around for this whole thing.
Well, if you haven't, they'll never know the difference. But what a game you would have missed. No one really gave the Air Force Academy, quite frankly, the chance that Coach Hatfield thought they had. And Coach Hatfield yesterday when we talked with him was taking that kind of role as the underdog. He felt like they had been handpicked to maybe hand Vanderbilt their first bowl victory in a mighty long time. But they were determined to show that they belonged here.
And they've done more than that. When they beat Notre Dame, there were folks around the country who said it was a fluke. And here they are in the Hall of Fame Bowl, getting ready to drive the final nail in Vanderbilt's coffin. Vanderbilt, a team that lost by just a field goal to Alabama. And probably that only because they lost Whit Taylor in the second half with an injury. So it's going to be a 49-yard attempt for Pavlich. And he missed it. He missed it to the left side. Well, it's 2:35 left. It's far from over. Whit Taylor doesn't need anywhere near that amount of time, and he's going to have the football at his own 32-yard line.
Well, Kevin, would you have gone for that field goal?
I think on 4th and 11, might as well go for the first down.
That was interesting. Of course, that was within Pavlich's range.
Definitely. He kicked a 57-yarder against Notre Dame, so you have to go for the field goal there. He just missed it. He had the distance. He just kicked it to the left. Whit Taylor now with his offensive machine out there. Not much question what they're going to do. Plenty of time to throw. Now he delivers it, and he's got Jordan, and he's out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
It almost looks as if Whit Taylor has everybody open immediately and still starts looking around to see who's going to be open the furthest downfield. That's how much time he's getting to throw the football.
That time he had 5+ seconds to throw.
They got plenty of time, 2 minutes and 29 seconds. They've got enough time to score and go an onside kick.
From their own 42-yard line. They don't have a first down. It's 2nd and 1. He fires it out for Jordan again. Still alive, and now knocked out of bounds by Dwan Wilson. Don Smith missed the first tackle, but it's a first down for Vandy, and they're getting out of bounds.
This is a very frustrating situation for Vanderbilt. Nobody plays a bowl game to tie it, and now they have to not only go in and score, they have to make the 2-point conversion. 18 passes for 159 yards. That's a career for a lot of people.
I'll tell you, if they do score and get a 2-point conversion, Ken Hatfield will be looking back on his 2 decisions to go for 2-point conversions when an extra point kick would have won the game. Of course, that's all conjecture at this point. They've got an 8-point lead. Taylor, his protection starting to break down. Flag is down, and now he completes it to Edwards, a diving catch at the 41, but I think they'll bring it back.
Well, I'd say if you're going to hold people out for 10 seconds at a time, you've almost got to hold somebody.
He had 7 seconds to throw the ball that time. We put the clock on him.
Quite frankly, the defensive rushers for the Air Force Academy remind me of one of those arcade games, one of those balls that bounce back and forth between the pillars. They haven't gotten to him yet.
And they never get around the pillars. But their secondaries played a great game. The penalty marked off against Vandy. It's illegal use of the hands. Taylor has thrown for 438 yards, but he's had 3 intercepted. He's thrown 4 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Norman Jordan, who's caught 18 passes. My goodness. Scott hauls it in at the midfield stripe, and he's pulled to the ground. Don Smith brought him down. They've racked up some individual numbers, but Air Force has the important numbers, 36 points.
You made a remark at the end of the first half. You said the most misleading statistic in the world was time of possession. At that time, Air Force was down, and they controlled the ball 9 minutes more.
There is Jordan with his 19th catch. But it's what you do when you have it, not how long you have it.
I'd like to know what the time differential is between the two teams now, though.
I'm sure Air Force still has the lead because they had a 9-minute advantage at halftime. But they've also got the point lead. I'll tell you that the most important statistic is turnovers. And we haven't seen 1 Air Force turnover. We've seen 4 Vanderbilt turnovers. 5, actually, after the fumbled kickoff. So they've turned it over 5 times if you rule that as a fumble, even though they never had it. Taylor under pressure, nearly threw another interception. Don Smith was waiting there, and the heavy rush came from Steve Rafferty. 1:34 left. And it's 4th down.
No question of what you're going to do, of course. Simply how you're going to do it.
4th and 2 from the Air Force 43. Air Force, from a turnover standpoint, playing perfect football. Their secondary's picked off 3. They haven't gotten to Taylor. Here they come now. A diving catch by Norman Jordan. And what a way to pull in your 20th grab of the day. But Air Force thinks he's short of the first down. I think the officials are going to want to take a look.
Well, that was a great catch by Norman Jordan. You cannot say enough about his heart and determination. He's caught 18 balls. That was his 19th reception, and he still might have wound up.
Well, he may have wound up short. That's his 20th reception as I'm handed the stat here. But Ken, he could have committed the cardinal sin by not running his pattern deep enough. He did not. And Air Force has the football, and with 1:27 left, you might say they've got the ball game unless they turn it over.
Well, they would have to turn it over at this point and give it to him in order to lose this one. And of course, big John Kirshner, and I say big, I say that relatively, 5'11", 190. Our most valuable player.
He wins our award, the Vitalis Most Valuable Player, 132 yards rushing up to this point. And Air Force, unless they really pull something bad out of their hat, will have their first bowl victory ever. This is their first bowl appearance, and they're not going to do anything dangerous. Louvain's just going to take it to the turf. First bowl appearance since 1971. They are 0-2-1 in bowls. Ken Willard helped North Carolina beat them soundly, 35-0 in 1963.
I'm glad we didn't play this team.
But this team would not quit. They were down 21-14 at halftime. They were down 21-17 at one point. But they've ripped off 19 straight points and lead 36-28 with a minute left, and the clock is ticking. Louthan just goes down. Kirshner covers him. What a duo they have been today. Louthan rushing for 81 yards, throwing for 136 more. But more importantly, the backbreaker, the 46-yard touchdown run on a 4th-and-1 situation.
They are your 2 key players, of course. And what can you say about John Kirshner? I think the cadets, they're happy. They get a chance to go back to the snowbound north. And, of course, there's Coach Ken Hatfield and his assistants. He has a lot to be proud of in this ball club.
This will be the last play of the game. I imagine that Derek Foster in the Colorado hospital, if he could know what his teammates have done today. They're counting it down. The Air Force Academy has their first bowl victory. The 1982 Hall of Fame Bowl is theirs, 36-28 over Vanderbilt. And we'll be back to Birmingham to recap it after this.